started getting the wet sheet pack because she had high blood pressure, all kinds of different symptoms, pain up and down her spine. And I thought, the safest thing we have is a wet sheet pack. She had high blood pressure, all of those things. So I had somebody go out, a nurse went out, one of our students, and gave her the wet sheet pack, and then they would start lymph massage, just 5 minutes at a time, 2 to 5 minutes. And she would always break out in some kind of a mole or some weird thing. And she said she knew it was that she was detoxing. So she was eating healthy, she was exercising, and she was doing the wet sheet pack every week, plus a 5-minute lymph massage, which went later on to 7 minutes, then to 10 minutes. And pretty soon she started shedding the weight. And she said, every time I got a lymph massage, I lost another pound. And she said, and my shape changed. And so she was so thrilled about that, between the massage and the wet sheet pack. And so that's pretty much what she did. And she started eating her healthier, exercising, because she wanted to be healthy for her grandkids, which she said are like 14 and 9, they're all teenagers and up. Now she said they're not little kids anymore. But I was so happy to see her yesterday, and she's still staying thin and, you know, doing well. And this was, what, 5 or 6 years ago. And do you know, the first time I saw her, she came up to me. I'd never even touched her. I just sent some people out to her. And she hugged me, and with tears in her eyes, she said, thank you for saving my life. People will do that. People are so thankful. And as you notice, she knew I was in town yesterday, so she came. And, you know, she came to the group thing and stayed the whole time. And so I thought, well, that was nice. You know, so people are so thankful. They do not forget once you have helped them. And you guys are going to go out. Step out and help somebody, because they will never forget, and you will be blessed by it. You know, and most of all, you will glorify God by doing this. You know, it's all to God's glory. That's why often every time before we give a treatment, we pray. And I'll tell you, a lot of times I have to pray for wisdom, because I don't know what to do. Everybody is different. You know, they might have diabetes, they might have, you know, whatever. I pray before I give a treatment, because I never know. And I want God to bless these simple treatments. These are simple treatments from God. We want Him to bless these treatments. So we pray before, and like I said, just a simple prayer. Don't go on and on and on. Just give a simple prayer. God, please help this treatment to be of help to this person, and bless them. That's it. You know, keep it simple and small. Don't go on and on and on, because they'll be like, oh, they'll be sleeping before they know it. That's a good thing, to put people to sleep. But anyway, so we don't have much time. So when I break you up, I'm going to number you, and then you'll go to each group. Yes?
I'd like to ask you, do you have an office so I can bring my daughter to you for treatment?
I don't. I just have my home, and I have my massage table, and I have a steam bath just like that set up in my room.
Yeah, that's okay. Can I bring my daughter to your house?
I live in Arizona now. Ask one of these, or do what you're learning.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, what is with my daughter? She gets these fatigue seizures.
You know what? Can you tell me afterwards, and I'll be happy to consult. And anybody can call me anytime. I'm happy to consult with anybody. I don't charge for any of that stuff. And I get calls all the time. People call me about, I have this problem, I have that problem, or somebody does. So I'll recommend maybe a treatment. But you're learning these treatments now. Do them. The only way you're going to really experience the good benefits is by using them. Use them on yourself. Use them on your family. Use them on your friends. They're not going to sue you, right? Your family and your friends, you know? Then use them on people in the church. No, I always believe in taking care of your own. Take care of your own first. Then use them on your neighbors. Practice makes perfect. Remember, with hydrotherapy, you need to be organized. Sometimes I'll take things and I'll just put them in a Ziploc bag, or I'll put them in a little, you know, container, so I have everything ready to go. If somebody says I need this or I need that, I've got it ready to go. I've got all my salt glow stuff, Simple anyway. I just know it in my head. But if you keep it all together and you keep it, okay, here's my salt glow, here's my hydrotherapy baggie, here's my this or that, then you'll be organized and somebody says, oh, I need a wet sheet pack. Will you grab your bag where you've got your sheets and your blankets or whatever in? It's no problem. I'm set to go. You're going to be Minutemen, Minute Women, whatever. You know, you need to be prepared with hydrotherapy. And I'm not saying you need to drag sheets and towels and everything everywhere. People at their home have these things. So use some of the stuff from their home. When I was a massage therapist, I used to go to homes and give massage therapy out in Palm Desert and La Quinta and stuff like that. Do you think I drug around these sheets and washed them and everything? I know therapists that do that, and that's fine. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put anybody's sheets in my car that were used. And I didn't want to do laundry. I just didn't want to do all that stuff. So you know what I did? Every new client that I had, if they were going to be a regular client like every week or every other week, I would give them a gift. Guess what I gave them? A sheet. You know, I'd give them a sheet pack. And I'd say, just have this washed and ready for me each time, and these are yours. Well, that saved me. You know, they were like, oh, a gift, how nice. And I'm just like, yay. You know, I don't have to wash the sheet. But, you know, be creative. If you don't want to do certain things, you know, be creative. It doesn't hurt. So anyway, I always believe God gave us a brain. God gave us a brain to use, and somebody said the other day we use, what, 3% of our brains, 3 to 10%? That's it. We have a lot of brain in there. Let's use it. Let's not, you know, put ourselves like we can't do anything. God gave us each a brain. We need to use it, and then we need to stretch it. And we can ask God to do that, and He will. And He will bring people. So this is in your book. I saw little parts of your book that Rodney had sent me. And this is about William Winternitz. I'm going to give you a little bit of history, then we're going to go right into hydrotherapy. Then I'm going to go into each different thing. I have a PowerPoint so you can see it, hear it, you know, so you kind of get it in your head. So this is William Winternitz. He was a Czech-Austrian Jewish physician and hydrotherapist. You'll see hydrotherapy came from a lot of physicians. They used to teach it at Loma Linda, and I wanted to make sure that this was true. So of course I went to the Heritage Room and I researched. Sure enough, I found a curriculum where they used to teach doctors hydrotherapy. A lot of nurses came up to me and said, I used to learn massage and hydrotherapy in my nursing. And sure enough, they did, but I wanted to see, did the doctors? And sure enough, it was in the curriculum. If someone came in with pneumonia, they got hot and cold fomentations to the chest. Yeah, not anymore. Now it's a pill, right? You know, the pills came along and then all the hydrotherapy went out. But Loma Linda was known for that. And they took care of him down in Paradise Valley. So he was an influential neurologist and hydrotherapist. How many neurologists do we know that would do hydrotherapy? It's below them, right? But you know what? They used to do it back in the day. It was the doctors, commonly characterized as the father of scientific hydrotherapy. And I love that because it's science-based. Okay? This is William Winternitz. So when you hear that name, and he's usually in the books, the old books. That's where I had to go to research hydrotherapy. Because in the new books, there wasn't much stuff out there. But in the old books, I love to go to used bookstores because I'll find some of these old books by Baruch, by, you know, these old hydrotherapy guys. And a lot of times they were physicians. Look at this. This was not a physician. This was an Austrian farmer. But he had lots of physicians in an uproar. Because, look at this, he treated himself for a serious accident. He had rolled his cart. He had the horse and cart back then. Rolled it on himself, accidentally, of course. And he was so crippled up, they said, you'll never walk again. So he saw a pamphlet on the ground one time about cold wraps. And so he would just wrap himself with the cold, like the heating compress, which we're going to go over. My keys are over there, I think. I've got the heating compress stuff in a Ziploc in my car. But he first treated his neighbors, get that, in 1840 treated 1,600 patients from all over the world using cold water and a healthy diet. Can you imagine that? How many can imagine doing 1,600 patients? Seeing, he was an Austrian farmer. He was not a physician. He was just like you and me, right? And after he treated a lot of these people, do you think the community kind of noticed? Oh yeah, people from all over came to him. Do you think the doctors noticed? Do you think the doctors were happy? No, they wanted to put him out of business because he was doing things naturally. So anyways, this is all in your book. I know he's in there. Sebastian Kneipp. Yes.
It's still big spa, and patients come from all over, and they do treatments and exercises.
Where?
In Moravia.
In Moravia. Okay, Moravia or whatever, but that's not here, that's in Europe.
Yes.
Right? See, and yeah, Europe uses a lot. Like if you go, you can go to the pharmacy in Germany. I remember when I was a kid, part of it would be allopathic. You get your regular medications. The other part would be Kneipp stuff. They would have essential oils. They would have all these Kneipp therapy things that you could buy, natural creams and things like that, which were from Kneipp. Well, Kneipp grew up very sickly. He had TB a lot of his life, and he ended up being like the Hercules guy. He ended up being very strong after he learned about these water treatments and doing treatments at home. You know, do you remember how I said I was sick for a long time? I still do hot and cold showers. I love hot and cold showers because it keeps me strong and it keeps me from getting sick. So, and he did a lot of things because it's the cold that makes you strong. I remember somebody asked me to come to Mexico once because they believed if you used any cold treatments, people would get sick. So they would do all the hot parts. You would get a steam bath, you'd heat all up, and then you were on your own. They did not cool you down. And so one of the doctors said, will you please come over and teach how the cold is beneficial and they're not going to get sick by the cold. They had a swimming pool, a beautiful pool there. They didn't use it because it was cold water. So I used to throw everybody in the pool and we would race, we would do all kinds of fun things in the swimming pool and exercises, and nobody got sick. So I had to show them, you're not going to get sick. You're going to get sick if you give a steam bath and not the cold afterwards, because it's the cold that's beneficial, and even more so is the rest afterwards, because that's when your white blood cells go up, is during the resting time. So whenever we do a major treatment, we always have people rest for 20 minutes to half an hour afterwards, because it's the rest that's very beneficial. Now, when I was out at Eden Valley, they do a lot of fever baths. Have you guys heard of fever baths? We're not going to do a lot with that today, but they get people's fevers up to at least 102 and higher and leave it that way for 20 minutes. And they have oxygen that they put them on. And it's bearable. When I learned at Weimar, we used to do it without the oxygen. And oh my goodness, I remember having a fever bath. I was wiped out. I was like, oh my goodness. Even though they cooled me down afterwards, I was still wiped out. But what they do in Eden Valley, they will use oxygen. And you can get these things that turn the oxygen, the air, up to 99% oxygen. So I got one of those at home because I like to give sometimes fever baths at home. But I don't recommend, it can be a very dangerous thing. You know, you have to take their pulse ox, you have to take their temperature, their blood pressure every, few minutes to make sure they're doing okay. I don't do a fever bath on just anybody. They have to be pretty healthy. And that's with any of our treatments. You want to look, is this person okay to put in a steam bath? Are they too frail? Or am I going to fry them and they're going to be worse off? And with MS, remember, with multiple sclerosis, we never use heat. And I wish I would have known that when I was younger, when I first started out doing hydrotherapy. Multiple sclerosis, we never use heat. I remember somebody that went down to one of our health centers down south, and they gave them steam baths and fever baths, and they came back worse. These people with multiple sclerosis, especially this one individual that I knew very well. And I'm like, you know, because I always watch these things. How good does it work? You know, how healthy are these people? And I noticed she got worse, and somebody else had gone down and gotten worse. And then later on, as I studied, I learned that with multiple sclerosis, they can handle any cold treatment, but they cannot do good. They will not do good with heat. So never use heat. Then I started reading it over and over in books. Never use heat with multiple sclerosis. That's an autoimmune disease, right? Rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease. Heat, no problem. But with multiple sclerosis, never use heat. I remember a story that Dr. Thomas used to tell often. And he said there was a gal, she had multiple sclerosis. He was doing a talk up in Michigan by one of the big lakes there. And it was like winter time, it wasn't summer. And this guy said, well, what should I do with my wife? He says, take her and throw her in the lake every morning, in the cold lake. And so he did that. You know, if you knew Dr. Thomas, he would speak with authority and he'd say, you take your wife and you throw her in the lake every morning. So that's what he did. Poor woman probably didn't know what was going on. So anyway, she got well. She got well. Being in the cold every day, she would come home, warm up, of course, and then, you know, do the rest of her day. But he said warm, and I didn't know if he told her to rest afterwards. She probably did because she was wore out from the cold. But anyway, she got well. That's a story that Dr. Thomas used to tell, and I used to think, why, you know, throw her in the lake, you know, kind of thing. But she had multiple sclerosis. Yeah. So remember, they do not tolerate heat. They just don't tolerate heat. You'll even ask somebody with multiple sclerosis. So remember that as far as hydrotherapy. What is it? What don't we ever use heat with? Multiple sclerosis. Absolutely. Now this is James Jackson. We know that Ellen White took her husband here, and this is where she first learned about hydrotherapy. Well, we often think that these things were small. Does that look like a small building to you? He had people come from all over. James Jackson, he wrote Outstanding Results of Hydrotherapy by Our Pioneers. This was in Dansville, New York. People used to come. That was a hydrotherapy clinic or sanitarium, whatever they called it back then. But that's where she took, I think, 2 of her sons that had typhoid or her somebody, and they got well. They actually got well. So these aren't small places. And then you guys know this guy. I had the privilege of going to Battle Creek. I took one of our staff members that was not an Adventist, and she was just amazed with Battle Creek Sanitarium. And I begged them. I'm like, please let me go through. Somebody's got to let me go through. I've come all this way. I'm here for another convention, but I want to see this. Don't you know? I do hydrotherapy. I have to see this Battle Creek Sanitarium. So I did, and I went in, and there was a little billboard of this guy here, Dr. Kellogg. Is he very tall? I'm standing next to him. Am I very tall? No. So was he very tall, especially for a man? And people said he always wore that white suit, and he would bicycle. He was into exercise. I saw you guys exercise this morning. That's awesome. So he was into exercise. So he would pedal in his white suit. People would always see him pedaling on his bike through town, past the university or the Battle Creek Sanitarium. He was 5 years ahead of the medical profession. He was a surgeon. He developed all these different exercise machines and even a chair, how to sit. And the chairs that he designed supported the hips. They kind of came up like a tractor chair. So they even had his chairs at the sanitarium. So this guy was an inventor. He invented all kinds of things. He was amazing. But he listened to Ellen White, right? He said, I am 5 years ahead of the medical profession because I listened to counsel from Ellen White. And he was. Even as a surgeon, he had a certain stitch. Everybody knew his stitch. So they knew that, okay, he did the surgery before. So he was a speaker, he was a surgeon, he was an inventor. The guy was amazing. And he's the one who started those Christian help bands because he had a heart for the city people in Chicago. He's like, we need to reach these people. Remember how many people were in a help band? Up to 10 people, right? So isn't it less scary when you get 10 people together, 10 minds to say, how are we going to help these people? Well, we need to teach them how to clean their house. We need to teach them light and fresh air is important. Open up those windows. We need to put nice little flowers and pictures on the walls, and then we need to give them maybe some hydrotherapy. They're not doing so well, the mom or the dad or the kids or somebody. Would that make a difference in our community? Is that something anybody in church can do? Think about who would want to be the leader of a help band or a care team. You know, you don't have to be a nurse, you don't have to be a doctor. You just need to be a little bit organized so that you can, you know, be somebody's going to look up to you and you can say, okay, we need to go this Sabbath to these people's home. Who wants to go? Maybe 4 or 5 people from that help band, or maybe all of them. Can you sing to these people? Will that make a big difference? You know, we used to be part of the singing group here at Loma Linda at the hospital. People would cry when we'd go in there and sing to them and pray with them, and, you know, just that. You know, they would cry, they would break down. It meant so much to them, and they remember that when they leave the hospital. So here's Battle Creek Sanitarium. Again, is this small? No, 1,200 bed hospital. Do you know how many bed hospital Loma Linda is? Is Loma Linda considered big? Yeah. How many beds? 600 to 700 beds in Loma Linda. Look at this. The sanitarium had 1,200 beds. The SAN, which everybody knew the SAN. And do you know when I was in Australia just a few years back, couple years, I don't know. But anyways, since I sold the school, I've gone there like 3 times. And down near Melbourne, there's a place in Warrenburg where they had a sanitarium, and they used to call it the SAN too. And they just shut it down recently, within the last 10 years. This government came in and shut it down. They had a swimming pool. They would do hydrotherapy for these people because they did something dishonestly with finances. So the government came and shut them down. And people are like, oh, do we miss the SAN? I used to go every day. I'd go over there, I'd go swimming. They'd give me hydro treatments. I'd get massaged. They had healthy foods. They had a big cafeteria there. And you can peek in the windows. I went and I peeked in the windows, and I've got pictures, are not super clear, but exactly how everything was. The silverware out, the plates on the table, everything was there. So anyways, it wasn't that long time ago that Australia, down in Melbourne area, Warrenburg, that there was a sanitarium, and people loved it, and people came and got treatments there. So think if we had something like that. President William Taft, Henry Ford, J.C. Penney, Eleanor Roosevelt, Amelia Earhart. These are just some of the famous people that went there. They went to the SAN, so anybody could go there. And again, it was huge. And they took a lot of charity cases. You know, people put Dr. Kellogg down a lot. And if you read the book DeSozo, it says too that he was persecuted by the church. By the church who he was doing this all for. They pretty much chased him out of the church. It wasn't just his own thinking. We think, oh, he's such an evil man. No, he had a heart for people. He loved people. He had a heart for downtown Chicago. Look, he took a lot of charity cases. Yes, he made money. Is there anything wrong with making money? He started what? His brother started the cereal thing, and he got into different ways because he knew they needed money to have big sanitariums. And yes, the church helped out with it too. And, you know, and we were counseled to have small places. But, you know, is there anything wrong with making money? No, there isn't, because we need it for the ministry, don't we? Who gives money to the church? It's the rich people at church, right? The people who have a lot, and there's other people that give. I mean, everybody gives, which is awesome. But, you know, don't chase people out of church. Be careful. Don't criticize people, because the Lord will work on their heart. The Lord works on the heart, right? We don't. And it says plainly that he was so criticized, they criticized him right out of the church. You know, then he started doing different things. But I'll tell you, he had a good heart, and he's done some wonderful things. And we need to look at the good things that Dr. Kellogg has done. And so they had all these different treatments that they did, and these were all hydrotherapy and massage. When I went, these are pictures that I took. This was just one part of the Battle Creek Sanitarium. And now the government owns it, and they have all these government records and things in it. But you can still see the beautiful marble steps, the gold railings that go up, the beautiful cafeteria. And I think he was a little bit outlandish, but you know, if the money was there, he had these chandeliers that were hand blown in Portugal that were like $30,000 a piece. You know, they were really expensive. You know, I don't know if that was to this day or, but this is one of the corridors that came off. Still the Battle Creek Sanitarium. You see how big it is. It's huge. And I'm not saying that we have to have these huge things. When I walked down in the front, this is what it looked like. These huge pillars, beautiful trees, green trees. I mean, it was a state-of-the-art thing. It really was. He was an amazing, you know, guy. Yes, it was a little bit exorbitant, but you know, that's how Dr. Kellogg thought. He thought big, because doesn't God want to glorify us in everything that we do? Shouldn't we be the head and not the tail? You know, that was it. And I think he saw that too, and I don't know his thinking. But anyways, Hydrotherapy for Nurses. This is one of the books that they used to teach from here. Believed hydrotherapy saved many lives in the 1918 influenza pandemic. How many are familiar with that? Have you heard of the Spanish flu or the 1918 flu? That we don't hear much about. We don't even study it much in history, because it was a time where America could do nothing. It actually was all over the world. It was a pandemic, meaning it was all over the world. People were dying. Trash was left out because the trash man had died and nobody was coming to pick up the trash. Can you imagine? You know, who was going to take care of all the bills, the water, and all of that? So a lot of things broke down within the cities. That's why we're told, stay out of the cities, go to the country. Have a well or something, have your own source, because we don't know what's going to happen. Do you know this last swine flu that they had, what, a year or two ago? It was H1N1, something like that, or H1N something. It was so close molecularly to the Spanish flu. And I thought, what's going to happen if we get the flu again? Right now, we have so many medications that don't help tuberculosis. We have MRSA, we have VRSA. We have so many drug-resistant illnesses, simple infections now. People are dying. I know people who have lost kids to these infections. They went in the hospital for something simple. My kid died because he got an infection. When you go in for chemo and different things, or, you know, people are more scared of the MRSA than they are of the other treatments that they're getting or the surgery in the hospital. So this stuff is real. I remember I quit going to the hospital because there were so many isolation units with MRSA and VRSA, and I'm like, I'm allergic to vancomycin. So I'm careful where I go, because remember those days when I was sick, they used all kinds of drugs on me that, you know, and vancomycin happened to be one of them, and I found out I was allergic. So, you know, it's a real thing. More and more, I think, you know, our society is going to be drug resistant. You know, drugs aren't the answer. They were for a little while, so they say within the allopathic, but now doctors don't even know what to do if you've got certain infections. So learning hydrotherapy is a wonderful thing. Do you know those who walked into Dr. Kellogg's place, they would live, even if they had the flu, because this flu, you'd get it in the morning and you were dead by evening. In the hospitals, they were toe tagging live people because they knew they'd be dead within hours, probably. But if somebody could walk into the sanitarium, the clinic, they'd give them a fomentation treatment. And even people who knew these things, Adventists in the military, they would save whole troops of people because they knew how to do this hydrotherapy. What if we get a flu like that again? What if in our society we're dumped, somebody does this poisoning or whatever, this bioterrorism, what defense do we have? It's not going to be medications, right? We can't even cure the common cold. There's no medication for the common cold, right? But hydrotherapy does amazing things, like even a hot and cold shower. If you start getting symptoms of a cold, right away, take a hot and cold shower. And a lot of times you can ward it off. Even a steam bath, right away. You got to do it before the symptoms hit. Now the steam bath is wonderful for a lot of things, and we'll go over that. So I just want to go, look, Hydrotherapy for Physicians. I actually got this book. I hunted down this book. Used to teach at the College of Health Evangelism known as Loma Linda University. This is a book that they used to use. And it's Hydrotherapy for Students and Practitioners of Medicine, embodying a consideration of the scientific basis. So hydrotherapy is built on a lot of stuff that physicians have done. An evidence-based study, this is something back in 1959, which I don't even know how good their studies were. Review of studies on the effects of heat treatments at Mayo Clinic, research by Dr. Joaquim and colleagues cite findings indicating that the number of white blood cells in the blood increased an average of 58% during an artificially induced fever. If we put somebody in a hot bath or we put them in the steam bath, is their temperature going to go up? You sit in a jacuzzi, your temperature is going to go up. That's called artificial fever. You're making somebody have a fever. All right? So that's what we talk about. Researchers also have found increases in the activity of the white blood cells during induced fever. And even Hippocrates said, give me the ability to create a fever and I can take care of any disease. Hippocrates was amazing. He was way long time ago, before we even knew how circulation was, before we even knew veins and arteries and all that. He was saying all kinds of things, and he's the one who said, let food be your medicine, right? And aren't we finding that out today? A lot of people are changing their diets and they're allergic to certain things and they're letting food kind of be their medicine, which I think is a wonderful thing. But some newest research on even something like this, a steam bath detoxification, immune system deficiencies, pain management, cancer, arthritis, stress and muscle tension, increasing body metabolism, elimination of toxins, which is detoxifying, and blood circulation, that it increases. These are some of the recent findings that they're coming up with different types of hydrotherapy. You can look at buying a sauna, right? Well, they will give you all these benefits of a sauna. Now you can have your own sauna in your house. Well, I love these little steam baths that they've come up with. And I've ordered, we're going to sell that one, I think for $120. I ordered it off the internet. It's brand new, so if anybody wants it, you can even take it home today and set it up in your living room. It has even a little thing that you set on it. And as long as you keep a towel, I do my treatments right in my living room because, it's convenient for me and I can watch TV or YouTube or whatever. I can watch something at the same time because it keeps my mind off of getting hot. And then I've got the ice, and I'll show you a simple ice pack that I found the other day at the bargain store. I think I paid $1.99 or something for it. And it's a beautiful little ice pack you can set on your head. I always wanted to get like these helmets. And a neighbor of mine she's a seamstress. So I said, well, can you help me make some of these wraps? So they're simple little wraps I keep, and I usually always travel. I could not find my one wrap, but it's with Velcro and flannel, and it's just I'll show you, if you don't mind going out to the car when we take a break. I'll run out to the car and get it and show you. But they're simple wraps, and I've found out, people have called me and said, you've got to know about the lemon baking soda wrap. Have you ever heard about that? For people with cancer. And so we made big wraps even for the breast that just Velcro. So it's easy for people to use, and they can just make a little mixture of the lemon juice and the baking soda, rinse it out and put it on and leave it that way overnight. So there's different sizes for smaller, and yeah. So anyway, so my neighbor made me all kinds. We have one for the knee, because a lot of people have knee problems, so we just, wet it, make it damp. You can put any kind of herbal stuff in there. I love Dr. Christopher's stuff. Have you ever heard of Dr. Christopher? If you're a nurse or you're a professional, health professional, you can get his stuff for 50% off, and it's cheap to begin with anyway. But I love, he's got 2 different oils. One's cayenne oil and the other one is bone, I think they call it bone and tissue now.
Yes, bone and tissue.
Right, amazing stuff. Full of all kinds of herbs, and I would rub that in really liberally and then put the compress on top of it. But we know so many people that have hip replacements, that have knee replacements, that we can help. Kay Kuzma recently had a knee replacement, and her knee was hot all the time. This was like 5 weeks after her surgery. And she says, Carla, it's hot all the time. So I gave her some treatments while I was there. My brother was working for her, so they'd invited me out, so I stayed out there. And so I'd go swimming with her every morning, and then her knee was so hot, and it really was. So I did the ice massage, which we're going to do. Oh, maybe that's the one that's outside, is the ice massage, because the wet sheet pack is right in here. But the ice massage, I did that on, and she goes, oh my goodness, for the first time the heat went out of my knee. And it just shows that the knee's still healing. So I'm not too concerned with the heat. But she said after I did the ice massage, it helped so much. She started doing her own. She would do her own ice massage. And it was really cool. So anyways, just simple treatments that you can help so many people wherever you go. Did I bring all my hydrotherapy stuff that I have to? No. I would not do hydrotherapy unless it was simple and easy. I've seen people drag around and get back problems from dragging around big buckets of water and carrying all these things, and then they come to us and they're like, my back is sore, and I'm like, why are you making such a hoopla about hydrotherapy? Yes, it does take a few things. Experiment to see what you can use easily. Like for fomentations, we're just I'll show you how easy I do it, just, using towels and stuff like that.
How do you spell Dr. Christopher's name?
Dr. Christopher?
The products you were telling me.
Yeah, I think it's just drchristopher.com. I think he's died now. He learned from Schultz, Dr. Schultz.
But he's not
What's that?
Dr. Christopher's son.
Yeah, Dr. Christopher's son, Dave. You can speak to him on the phone. They'll even recommend stuff for you, whatever. They're very nice. We used to always order stuff for the school and have it in our store. That's how I know. And I know you can get it half price. And also, when we do chair massage, which Rodney will probably show you how you do it your way, I always take this with me. It's a little oil, and I get it through a different company. So I told the guy, I'll buy it from you if you give it to me at your price. so that's what I do, and he'll send it to me, and it smells really good, and I use it for people who get headaches. So to me, it's easy when I'm doing chair massage. I just have it in my pocket or in my uniform. I usually wear scrubs, and then I stick it like right in my pocket, and I have it all the time. I like to have a little bit of extra. You'll see there's some essential oils over there. I use some of those things just because I kind of think it's the missing link, and it goes right along with massage and hydrotherapy. Is it okay to pamper people?
Yes.
Yes. Psychologically pampering somebody, making it nice, putting flowers around, making the treatment as nice as you can, why not? What's wrong with being pampered? A lot of times these hydrotherapists think, oh, we just need, old beat up stuff and let's just throw this on them. And, but if we love somebody, if we really care for them and smile, do you know that Teresa, what was her name? She went to India, Sister Teresa. Mother Teresa. Yeah, Mother Teresa. Everybody knows of Mother Teresa, right? Do you know the first thing she taught the people that would come out to help her? You need to smile. These people are dying. The last thing that they see is your smile a lot of times. You need to simply smile for these people. Why not be cheerful? Because we're even told in Ministry of Healing that if we're friendly and kind, it does so much more for treatment than a treatment that's just given in a harsh manner. So if you just give the treatment, you pray for them, you do everything right and perfect, you're still going to get better results if you don't do it as perfectly and you smile and you're kind and you kind of pamper your client, and that means so much more to your client. So just remember, it's not just we're going to do this treatment, okay, this is what you need, and do the treatment. No! You want to be kind to them, you want to help them, you want them to be comfortable. Oh, you're not comfortable on that table? Good, because you need to sacrifice to get well. I grew up that way, and I'm like, that is not the way. That is not the way. Did Jesus have children running to him because he was harsh? No. He had children all the time around him. Remember the disciples, let's chase the kids away. No, because Jesus was loving, he was friendly, he was kind. That's the way we want to be. That is a true medical missionary. To be kind, to be loving. We're there for people. Perfect health requires perfect circulation. The cool thing about hydrotherapy, we do a lot with circulation. More than any other medication ever could. Look at this, peripheral pump. That's what we want to get in our legs. We want the peripheral pump. Peripheral means away from. We have the heart, which is a pump. Thank goodness it pumps all the time, whether we think about it or not, right? We sleep, it still pumps. Well, we want to make a peripheral pump for those who have problems with circulation. Maybe they have pain in their legs, maybe they have neuropathy, things like that. A simple hot and cold treatment. And usually I'll have different basins here. I usually have one that's red, one that's blue. What do you think the blue is for? The cold, right? And the red is for the hot. So we want to make sure that we keep the hot hot and the cold cold. Now, a contrast foot bath is so easy. All you need is a basin. If someone has small feet, you can get away with the buckets, But get something nice. You can go to the dollar store and get basins, that people's feet will fit in. Don't make it so tiny that, they can't hardly fit their feet in and their feet are cramped. You can even put nice essential oils. You can put those little stones, have little flowers floating. Make it nice. Why not? So anyways, when I give a hot foot bath, I'll just have like the two little basins here, and they put the feet, and sometimes I'll use a swivel chair. You'll see when I show you how to do it. But I just put the feet in the hot water, let it warm up nice, maybe a couple minutes. Then I'll start the treatment, 10 seconds in the cold. Now, if they're diabetic, we want to be careful because we can burn them, right? And they won't even feel it, right? So we want to always test the water on the inside, or we want to test it with a thermometer. No more than 100 degrees for someone who has diabetes. So just like with the baby, we test it on the inside of the arm. You can test the water that way too. Don't make it too hard. Remember, we don't want people to suffer. We don't want to burn anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody. Even the physician's thing, above all, do no harm, right? And I wish they abided a little better by that. But anyway, we want to go from the hot to the cold. Now I'll have some ice here, because if you're going from the hot to the cold, you're going to start warming up the cold water. We want to keep it cold, so we'll have a little ice here and we'll have a little kettle here to keep putting in. Now, do you want to put the hot water over their feet when their feet are in the water? No way. You know, we want to, when it's in the cold, then you can put the hot in and then feel it, make sure it's okay. If it's too hot, take a little ice, put it in there. Okay, so all they're going to do is like 30 seconds, always longer in the hot, short in the cold. Cold is short. And I could tell you a story. I want to kind of move things along here. But there's a story one time I was at Dr. Thomas's learning hydrotherapy. So he was going to show us the cold bath. So we had this huge bathtub. We filled it with water and we had the ice floating on it. It was really cold. And so he had gotten a phone call. So he went away and we're all just standing there and we're like, hey, Bobby's always the volunteer. We're like, Bobby, get in. So we're like, let's see how long we can keep you in the cold water. So we put him in the cold, not realizing that the colder it is, the shorter the amount of treatment. Dr. Thomas came back from his phone call. He goes, what are you doing? And poor Bobby's in there shivering. We're like, okay, you're in there for almost a minute. Okay, 2 minutes. You know, the guy almost had hypothermia, the poor guy. And so anyways, Dr. Thomas right away, get him out of there. You know, this isn't the purpose to the cold bath. So what we used to do is we would steam first in the steam room. Then you jump into the cold bath for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. Then you're out. You know, it feels good. The cold feels good once you're heated up. But him just going in there, and we learned very quickly. I learned, okay, cold is very short because we don't want anybody to get hypothermia, right? So anyways, hopefully you'll remember that story. Cold is always short. So 10 seconds about in the cold and then 30 seconds. And they can do this back and forth for about 10 minutes. And I have seen people's feet turn from blue to pink after they do this for a few days. You might not get the perfect result on the first treatment, so keep doing it for a week or two. For people who have neuropathy, sometimes the feeling comes back. What does the feeling come back as? Pain. Sometimes they'll have pain and they'll be like, ow, my feet hurt. I don't like these treatments. Assure them within a day or two the pain will go away. Keep doing the hot and cold. You can even do it twice a day or 3 times a day for people who have bad circulation. So sometimes, because we want to get this peripheral pump going, this peripheral pump is a pump that starts in the calf here. And because a normal blood vessel, and if you look, vasodilation, when we put the feet in the hot water, what does it do to the vessels? It opens them up. It vasodilates. When we put it into the cold, what does it do? It vasoconstricts. So if we're putting it back and forth, hot and cold, what do you think it's doing? Right. It's making a pump. It's making its own peripheral pump. And so whenever you're standing too, you should always be like this. You know, if you're cutting hair for a long time or you're standing in line for a long time, make sure you pump your legs up a little bit. Just get up on your toes, make your calf work to bring that blood up. Otherwise, you can get varicose veins and different things like that, which you don't want. But anyways, the peripheral pump is an amazing thing because it pumps circulation, and especially in the lower extremities, which is so important. So, why use water? We can go anywhere in the world and there's water. Let me straighten this out here. Okay, so it's the most abundant source of hot and cold on the planet. And we have water almost anywhere we go. I mean, if you go to parts of Africa, you may not. So hydrotherapy may not be the thing to do there. Okay, you can retain heat and cold better. Water retains heat and cold better than any other element. All right, it cleanses better than anything else in the world. That's why we're told to drink lots of water, right? Because it's always cleansing us. Natural substance, it's non-toxic. The human body is made up of about 65% of water, right? We're made of water, a lot of us. Inexpensive, easy to apply, available in the 3 forms. We're going to be using them all today. Solid, liquid, vapor. And you'll see the steam coming out of the steam bath. So that's the vapor. Here's our temperatures. A steam bath is usually 100 to 120 degrees. All right, which is 100% humidity. And there I put Celsius because when I go to different countries, they use Celsius. So I had to put Celsius on there too. So hot foot bath, 100 to 104 Fahrenheit for a hot foot bath. So if you're measuring temperatures, you can measure around 100 degrees. Jacuzzi, how many people like to get into jacuzzis? Yeah, they feel really good. And I've got one close to where I live. And normally they're about 103, 104 degrees. Just to give you an idea. Don't stay too long in the jacuzzi. Because when we were at Dr. Thomas's and people would get in the jacuzzi, we always had them put ice on their head. Because you have to keep the brain cool. Important to keep the brain cool. So don't stay any more than probably 15 minutes in the hot tub because you get overheated. Do you know if you've stayed 20 minutes or half an hour maybe talking to somebody in the hot tub, how do you feel afterwards? Yeah, you feel kind of yuck. We don't want any of our people to feel that way. It's because your brain got overheated. Maybe you end up with a headache or something later. But we want to keep the head cool, so sometimes I'll put ice in a sock and put it around my neck. I don't when I go to the jacuzzi because I'm usually not there very long. I'll hop in the cold pool, swim my laps, whatever. And but anyway, you know, if you're going to be long in any jacuzzi or any jacuzzi tub or use your jacuzzi tub for treatments, remember there's different ways to put ice on people's heads and to keep them cool. One is you can take a washcloth and keep wringing it out and putting it on. To me, that's a lot of work. I'd rather just take an ice pack and leave it there, you know, and usually I'll put something in between, like a pillowcase or something, because you never want the ice directly on the skin or the plastic that it's in. You don't usually want it directly on the skin. So look around, there's all kinds of cool things. Even at the dollar store, I saw these little things that cool the head that you could put on. I've not tried it yet, but you know, one of these days I'm going to try that because I'm always looking for, because we live in an age of technology, why use the old system? Why not use something a little bit more modern? Nothing wrong with that, you know, so especially if it's simpler. Okay, the sauna bath, 140 to 160 degrees. And coming back to simpler, I'm heating stuff up in the microwave. Did they have microwaves back in the 1950s or the 30s or 40s? No. You know, maybe if they had microwaves, they'd use them. They used to heat them in pots. And I know some people that still teach how to heat them in a pot. Why would you do that when you've got a microwave? Within minutes, you've got your hot fermentations. You know, I don't know. Some people don't believe in microwaves. But then we have the paraffin bath. Look at the temperature of the paraffin bath. 125 to 130 degrees. This is why it's so helpful for arthritis. And we have the paraffin bath back there, and you guys are going to put your hand in. 130 degrees. What's boiling point for water? 212. 212. Okay, so it's even more. So, but anyways, paraffin bath. If you put your hand in water that's 125 or 130 degrees, you'd take it out like really fast because it'd be really, really hot. But you can with the paraffin. It's okay. It doesn't hurt. You'll see. The paraffin wax is a little bit different that way. Now here we talked about hot and cold showers. This is your homework. Go home and take a hot and cold shower because it is really beneficial and you'll feel how your body feels afterwards. And if you do it 3 times back and forth, what should you do afterwards? Rest. You want to rest for 20 to 30 minutes. Dry off briskly. You can get dressed and then rest. So you want to rest for those. So if you do it in the middle of the day, still make sure you rest those 20, 30 minutes and then it has you hyped up. Don't do this right before bed because it energizes you. It's better than a cup of coffee in the morning. So many people are used to getting up in the morning, where's my coffee? You know, take a hot and cold shower. I would have done that this morning, but I barely got out of bed to make it here. So hot and cold showers are wonderful things. So how do we do it? Yes.
I do that in the morning, and I haven't had a cold in over 5 years.
That's right. They showed that there's something that develops in your nose to protect you, these little lysosomes or something that protect you when you do it every
And
day.
it seems too energizing in the morning, better than coffee like you say.
Yeah. How many times back and forth do you go?
I don't go back and forth. That's my
Just
morning
once.
shower.
You take your shower and then you end with cold.
Cold.
Excellent. Yeah, and if you want to do a full treatment, you go back and forth 3 times. You go to after you've done the cold, then you make it even hotter than you had it before. But don't pass out. Make sure somebody's in the house, because if you are in the heat for too long, you can pass out. Or if you feel like you're going to pass out, go right to the cold. Okay? So the heat for maybe a minute, and then go back. And I do it, I'll wash my hair and I'll warm up really good, then I'll go to the cold, and then, I'll go as hot as I can make it, then the cold feels good. Then you go to the cold and you jump around. It feels good, but it's still cold. Especially if you're someplace like Canada. In Arizona, my water's still warm. I don't even bother. Here, I did one the other day in your shower, Julie. And it was nice. It at least got cold. Cool. It wasn't like ice cold. But when I go to Canada, or if I go somewhere else up north, it gets cold. So, and I love to do it. And when I'm in a hotel room, I definitely do a lot of hot and cold. So remember, if you do it back and forth 3 times, we always start with hot and we end with cold. We dry off briskly, rest for 20 minutes. Okay? If you need to pick me up in the middle of the day, if you feel like, I'm going to come down, I'm coming down with something, quick, take a hot and cold shower. Do it 3 times back and forth. And like she said, if you do it every day, then you just won't even get sick. And I believe that too. I do it every day because I have to stay strong. Almost every day. I don't when I'm in Arizona, but when I'm out and about, I often do.
Is it a couple minutes at a time that you do the hot?
Yeah, you do the hot for maybe a minute, the cold for about 20 seconds. So you can jump around and, you count your 20 seconds, whatever.
That you could stand the water?
Yes, and then you make it hotter, and then you make it colder. Each time, a little hotter, a little colder. You want to build up. If you can only do warm and cool to begin with, start there, and work your way up. The body's amazing. So that's your homework. I want everybody to do a hot and cold shower. How many are going to do it? How many are going to do your homework? Yes. So just do that. That is such a simple thing that you can do for yourself. And then if you just remember every day, end with the cold. Make it so hot after you've cleaned up and everything, done your hair. Then make it cold. You can choose to put your head under if you want to. You don't have to all the time. My hair's like a mess. I think I slept on it too. I can feel it. So anyway, there's other hydrotherapy treatments that we're going to go over. Blood and hydrotherapy. Just to give you a background, blood gives life to the entire body, right? And we talk about nutrition. It carries nutrients. It carries oxygen. It carries our body's defense, our white blood cells, right? Certain hydrotherapy treatments can increase your white blood cell by even 200 to 300%. That's huge, right? It carries away toxins and wastes. So if somebody's getting chemotherapy, what often happens to their blood cells? They go way down. So I know somebody who had chemo. If you can do it complimentary, if you're getting chemo and you can go, they used to go to get an IV of vitamin C and stuff like that, and then do some hydrotherapy in between, along with their treatments. And then afterwards, I would say you should detox to get all those chemicals out. Because when a person has cancer, we can't say, don't do chemotherapy, just do natural. If I had cancer, I don't know what I would do if the doctor said you have 90% chance to get well if you went through this chemo, what are you going to do? You know, I've seen people die both ways of chemotherapy, and I've seen them die doing it naturally. So we found that complementary is even the best. It goes even higher, the success rate. So, you know, pray about it when you have, because so many people want to tell you what to do when you have cancer, right? So when a person has cancer, boy, they get people from out of the woodwork telling them what to do. You know, so be careful with that. I can't say one way or the other what to do. You know, you need to talk to God about that and see what's right for you.
Something to keep in mind is if you tell them what to do and they do it and then they die, you may feel like you told them the wrong thing.
That's right. That's right. That's why I'm very careful. Even though I believe in the natural, and I had a Mormon neighbor, and I would go for little walks with her after her surgery. Then they told her she was going to have chemo and radiation afterwards. It's part of the protocol. So she said, well, I'm going to go and see how good this chemo is. I want to test how good this chemo is. So she demanded from her doctor, I want to see how good this chemo is to the type of cancer I have. Do you know what it ended up being? 7%. And she says, no, I'm not going to do the chemo. So she did it on a wise thing. You know, she decided, no, I'm not going to do it. And they had already put in the valves and everything, the PICC line. And so she decided, I'm going to do vitamin C and nutrients and all that. So her husband would mix stuff up. I'd see him at the house with his mask on and gloves. And then he would give her IVs of this, and then we would go walking a lot. And she said, do you think I should do the radiation? And I'm like, well, you know, you're not going to do the chemo. And I said, they said they got it all, and you know, I would not do the radiation myself, because I've seen it do terrible things in nursing. You know what it does, and it destroys a lot of things, not just, although the proton here is a beam that just goes right straight to the prostate. I think that's awesome. But they you know, radiation gets everything. And so I said, you know, that's up to you. So she decided not to do either one, and she's fine now. She's totally well, and she kept up with all her appointments and things, and her physical therapy, and she had breast cancer, so she went and had reconstructive surgery and stuff like that. So anyways, we became good friends because, you know, the Mormons also have a health message. I live in Mormon country right now. So a lot of my friends, a lot of people I meet are Mormon. You know, I used to live here in Loma Linda area, and most of my friends were Adventists, which was really cool. But now that I'm out, most of them, very few are Adventists. Most of them are Catholics, Jewish people, you know, from all walks of life, some agnostics or whatever. And so I get to share with these people. But do I preach to them? No, never. Yeah, like I said, that one guy that crashed the party and he noticed we didn't have wine there. They brought the wine and everything. He quit drinking, he lost weight, and he's talking about 7 days. Did I ever even talk religion to him? No, but now when he sees me at the pool, he wants to talk about spiritual things. And it's like, wow, you know, little do you know. You know, God, I say let God work on the heart. God can work on the heart. We can be his instruments still. We can love people because people don't know really what love is and to be loved. Now we see blood has two limitations. Of course, God never has made us with limitations, but we have a limited amount of blood. How much blood do we have? Right? We have like 5 liters or 5 quarts of blood. That's it. If we bleed out and all that blood is gone, or even a quarter of it's gone, we've passed out and we might die, right? It cannot optimally support digestion and muscular activity at the same time. When you were a kid and your mom would tell you, don't swim after you eat, did she know why? Usually not. But we know why, because when your food is digesting, what goes to your digestive organs? The blood. The blood goes all through the digestive organs. You jump in a cold pool and your muscles freeze up and they cramp because they're not getting enough blood, right? Or oxygen. They're not getting enough, so they cramp up. So we know now why you tell your kid, don't eat and then jump into the pool, because you could cramp up. Because all the blood is going to digestion. And even 25% of our 5 quarts of blood are always in the lungs. So they're always in the lungs. So that's 25%. So that's over a quart of our blood is always in the lungs. What about our liver, our heart, or, those? Yes, Gloria?
It's the same thing when my mom say, when we eat and say, you need to stay 1 hour, wait 1 hour before you take a shower. And I said, why? Because you finish to eat and it's not good.
Right.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the blood has its limits. And the second limitation, there's a tendency of blood to congest or pool in different parts of the head or the pelvis area, different parts of the body, right? When a girl gets cramps, where's all the blood? In the uterus area, right? So she gets cramps, When we get a headache, where's our blood? We have lots of blood usually in our head. That's why we exercise, right? So that we can disperse the blood. And that's why when you study, you should get up and exercise every hour, at least, maybe every half hour, so that you can disperse the blood through your whole body and it doesn't just get stuck up in your head. And that's why we're going to talk about derivation. I'm going to give you a break in like 5 minutes here. Derivation is simply moving blood from one part of the body to the other. When I put my feet in hot water, see there? What happens? Remember we talked about vasodilation and vasoconstriction? We put our feet in hot water. What's going to happen to the blood vessels in our legs? They dilate, right? And if we put ice on our head and on our neck, what's going to happen to these blood vessels? They're going to constrict, right? So we want to move blood from the head to the feet. So we'll put the feet in hot water and we'll put ice on the head for it to constrict and move the blood down to the feet. And the feet will get red hot. You'll take your feet out and they'll be hot up till that whatever line, you have had your feet in. So that's the hot. So this is derivation. It's just a big word to mean moving blood from one part of the body to the other. Do we have medications that can do that? No, this is a very powerful thing. I think this is very cool that we can move blood from one part of the body to the other. And it's something that nobody else can do. Look at this. This is Hippocrates. Give me the power to create a fever and I shall cure any disease. Remember we talked about artificial fevers, making our bodies heat up by either a steam bath, by jacuzzi, by the hot foot bath isn't going to heat you up quite as much. It'll move blood around though. But isn't that amazing? Even Hippocrates said that. Hydrotherapy guidelines. We're going to quickly go over some guidelines. Always keep the feet warm during a treatment. Sometimes if I want someone to heat up fast, I'll put a hot foot bath in the steam. So they'll heat up really fast and I'll give them maybe some hot tea to drink. Always nice to have something good for people to drink. Squeeze some lemon in some water, have nice, because they'll heat up in there. So it's nice to have a cool drink too. The lower the temperature, the shorter should be the application, right? We talked about that. The colder it is, we're gonna keep it short, right? Maybe only 5 seconds if it's ice cold. Train clients to progressively react to the coldest applications. And I would say the hottest and the coldest. Remember, when you start out with your hot and cold shower, it might be warm and cool, and then it gets a little bit colder, a little bit hotter, that kind of thing. So we want clients to progress. Okay, let me go back here. Avoid any heat treatments for clients with multiple sclerosis. Cold application should be preceded by a warm or hot treatment such as a hot foot bath. So if you're going to give somebody an ice treatment, make sure they're warm during it. Maybe you want to put their feet in hot water while you're giving we're not going to do that today, but while they're getting their treatment, especially if they're cold all the time. It's warm. You can put your feet in the sun if you want to, because we're going to do the ice treatment outside. And then here's the thing about the flu. This was a thing. May 1919 photograph showed rows of tents that had been set up on the law of Emery Hill to those victims of the 1918 influenza pandemic. The pandemic killed an estimated 20 to 50 million people worldwide. Was that a big flu? Is that something that could happen today? Absolutely. And hydrotherapy was the only thing that usually helped people. This was out of Good Health, edited by John Harvey Kellogg. See Spanish influenza treatment. They would actually do treatments at the sanitarium. And as long as a person could walk in, they would survive. If they had to carry them in a stretcher, they probably wouldn't survive. But if they walked in, they would give them right away those hydrotherapy treatments, and they would survive. So go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Is 5 minutes enough? 7 minutes to go to the bathroom? Let's see. When it's 10:30 now, about 10:34. So if you can be here at 1:45, so that gives you about 6-7 minutes. If you can be back here at 1:45, we're going to start right in on the treatments, and then you'll get to do them yourselves.
So for a cold, if you're doing hot and cold treatments, how many do you have to give in a day?
You can give up to 3 times a day. Yeah, you want to spread them out. So like 2 or 3 hours.
Morning, noon, night?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So more than just one a day?
Yes.
No, thank
Yes.
you.
You can do one a day, but it's going to be much more beneficial.
And if you have like a jacuzzi and a pool that's cold in the winter,
Yes.
so maybe sit in the jacuzzi, like you said, for 15 seconds.
Dr. Thomas always had a thing. It was 6-2 or 2-2-2. So you put 6 minutes in the hot, 2 minutes in the cold,
Okay.
4 minutes in the hot, 2 in the cold, and then 2 minutes in the hot, 2 in the cold.
And the best time would be in the morning.
Yes. Yeah, probably in the morning. Yeah.
Say that ratio again,
6, 2, 6 of the hot, 2 of the cold, always 2 of the cold, and then 4 and 2. And then 2 and 2. Yep, 3 times back and forth.
And then on the duration, we do hot and cold for how long?
10 minutes. Yeah, you can do it 10 to 12 minutes.
For any of the cold of the, are you just talking about the?
What we're talking about, the foot bath, how long to go back and forth. And then we're going to go over those things on these 5 feet.
And if you're in the pool during that time, just swim?
Yeah, you swim, you can do whatever you want.
It's a long time.
You don't have to. I don't like my hair, that's why it's too short. I swim every day. So, and I've had people come out to the house and have a really fun. Some of them all go over there in the pool.
You have the chocolate dish.
But it's funny because people look on. What is her name? Can you?
She's coming out, in October, so she's gonna be, at home for Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Yours must be English. Yeah, she speaks only English.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
yeah, I have talked to you.
Yes.
In a pool for an hour and a half. And I'm like, I get into the water and I'm like, that's part of it. You just wears out. And then I was doing like, I've been there for about an hour and a half. I don't know. That's a good question.
walks in a walker. I'm like, oh.
So she had her hip
I
done.
had a hernia, my L3 and 4 were herniated in the leg. And no more
Wow, that's great. Okay, I got a number.
Oh, you do? Yes, because she was over at ASI last August there in Phoenix. And I know she lives in Cleveland. I'll be right there.
Thank you for reminding me. And what is your name? Alexa. Yes.
She knows the full.
Okay, so say A-X-A. That's your first name. Last name Martel, A-R-T-E-L-L. And you can maybe imagine, she really, and then how do you spell his name?
Grab a couple.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Axel. I will definitely. Yeah, she's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, yes.
And they massage you.
Yeah, I was there the other day and they wanted to shoot stuff in.
Try it. Harry and Baz are easy to get. Yeah, I'm gonna go over each one. Yeah, you'll get to try it out too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So definitely do that, and then if you do it every day, that's what helps. That's what I'm saying to you guys. To help soften that.
Oh, I didn't do everything.
So you already do all that.
Today, I think I ordered fine.
We'll try it and see how it works, because I can't say it's a cure for it.
What they think it is a knot.
Yeah.
got worse since then. She can't hardly breathe. She's getting sick. Yeah, I think that's what I should do. Yeah, I'm learn as much as I can. In the house, in the cold shower, you think that'll be this hard for you?
That's okay, but it might tire her out. Yeah, the hot circulation is that.
By the way, I got your neighbors.
I'll show you.
Okay, let's get started, because I want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to do the hands-on stuff so that you can do it yourself. So I'm going to quickly go over some PowerPoints. We already talked about this, the contrast foot bath, so I'm just going to quickly go over it. The benefits there, used on extremities for poor circulation, increases circulation, improves healing. You can see the normal and the diabetic who's at risk. So we want to be careful with them, right? Keep the temperature no more than 100 when we're dealing with diabetics. All right, contraindications. Caution with water temps with diabetic clients and those with PVD. That's peripheral vascular disease. That's when they're not diabetic, but they still have lots of pain in their legs. Peripheral vascular disease. So begin at 100 degrees and use your noggin, right? Use your brain, because some people are very thin. Maybe they have very thin skin. Maybe they just don't look so healthy. Start out easy on them, and you can always do more. Okay? So you want to look at your client, see what condition they are. If they have any history of chronic congestive heart failure, check with a physician before treatment. Do you know what congestive heart failure is? Is when their extremities are really edematous, or they have a lot of swelling, right? So anyways, because the heart's not able to pump the blood through like it should. So they have a very weak heart, so you want to check with that if they have severe edema or anything like that. Fill 2 basins, hot and 1 cold. See, simple as that. Normally about 110 and 65 degrees, but for a diabetic, we're going to keep it lower. And for people who can't tolerate the 110, we'll make it 103 or 104. All right, hot water, 100 to 110. Cold water, 55 to 65. Place feet in the water for about 2 minutes, then begin. About 30 seconds in the hot, 10 seconds in the cold. And we can go back and forth for about 10 to 12 minutes. And you can do this 2 to 3 times a day. In the morning, in the afternoon, at night. And then they go to bed. Make sure they always dry their feet off well. Add heated water to keep it hot, right? Ice to keep it cold as needed. See, they're pouring it in with their feet in there. I don't like it with their feet in there. You know, wait till their feet are in the cold, then pour it in the hot, and check it. Continue contrasting 30 seconds hot, 10 seconds cold for 7 to 10 minutes. But you can go 10 to 12 minutes. You know, whatever they have time for, you'll see. As tolerated, intensify temperatures with each treatment. That means make it a little hotter, a little colder, right? We always want to train them to go hotter and colder if we can. May apply the treatment 1 to 3 times a day for 2 to 3 weeks. So in 2 to 3 weeks, they should be getting some type of relief. You should be seeing a difference. Can use a swivel chair for easy positioning. And so how many people have your own offices where you have a little swivel chair or something like that? That can be very helpful. So they can go back and forth. Otherwise, if they're just sitting in a chair like this and putting their feet in the hot and in the cold, that's okay too. But a swivel chair can be beneficial. May place basins in tub and sit on the side of the tub, or place swivel chair close to the tub. I'm not one who likes to lug around a lot of water. And besides, it could be messy. It might drip when they go from the hot to the cold, right? So I'll just do it in the tub and let them sit on the side of the tub, or put the chair close to where the tub is, as long as their feet can reach. So keep it simple. Then you can just use the cold and the hot water out of the spigot to fill it up, and then you've got your cold and your hot to, you know, replenish it. But don't feel like you have to do everything, you know, dragging around buckets of stuff. Don't do all that. Okay, always begin the treatment with hot and end with cold. That's right. Okay, and then after the last cold dip, dry the feet off with a dry towel. Expect feet and part of the leg to become red with hyperemia. Hyperemia means a lot of circulation to that area, which is fine. That's a good thing. Rest and elevate the feet for 20 minutes if edema is noted. That means you would just have them lay down with their feet up, right, if they have swelling. To end the treatment, simply dry off the feet. Simple as that. And then they can go about their business, you can go about your business, whatever. All right? So that's the contrast bath. So hopefully...
Headache, any congestion.
Mostly poor circulation in the feet. Yeah, that's a lot of poor circulation is for that. And pain in the feet. My feet are cold all the time. Their feet are blue. You're like, You know, maybe let's do just a little bit of,
I have that, man, and my feet always hurt. I have very poor circulation.
yep, see, so just doing that. And rig up something close to your bathtub or in your bathtub or in your shower, you know, so that it stays mess free. Yeah, rig up some so you do hot and cold every day. Yeah. Yep, it'll be good for the feet. Are we hurting anything when we do hot and cold? No, you're not going to hurt. Look at the people's feet, especially if they're diabetics. Do you know diabetics, when they can't feel, they can step on a tack or have an infection at the bottom of their feet and never even know it because they can't feel it. I've seen people have gangrene at the bottom of their feet and not even know it because people don't look at the bottom of their feet. So when you're doing the treatment, look at the bottom of their feet. Make sure they're okay. I have people either use mirrors if they can't stoop over, or look at your feet. You know, use a mirror or something. You've got to look at your feet if you're diabetic. Very important, especially if you have neuropathy.
Would you do it if they have a wound? If
No.
they're diabetic, you wouldn't do it.
No, if they have a wound, they need to check with the doctor first. If they have a sore, because it heals very slowly. But I'll tell you, doing hot and cold like this will increase the circulation and make it heal fast. But, you know, I don't want to go against anything that a doctor, as long as a doctor knows, and most doctors will say, oh, fine. Otherwise, they'll send them for physical therapy and put them in a whirlpool bath with some warm water or Epsom salt or something like that. Now, can you add Epsom salt to any of those? Can you add nice essential oils? Yes. Do it, make it nice. Make it like a little spa thing if you want to. Because a lot of treatments that are spa treatments have actually started out, they started out as spa treatments. Look at paraffin. You can pay and get a spa treatment to keep the hands warm and soft and supple. Salt glows. You can use, they use salt and sugar, right? For a scrub, and it's a beauty treatment. You might pay a lot of money for it. You know, it's a beauty treatment. People use it on their face sometimes, and you can just keep it out of your eyes. So, but now we're going to go on quickly to heating compress. And I grabbed them out of my car. I had a few with me. These are some that my Mormon neighbor made for me, and I'll show you what it is. So a heating compress goes on cold. Figure that. It goes on cold. It's one of the simplest yet effective hydro treatments. Very simple, because this is all I use. You can make up your own. You can make your own. Somebody made me one, and I used to take it with me everywhere because sometimes when I teach, I'll teach all day for days, and my throat might get a little sore. So I'll put it around at night, and then I wake up the next morning and I'm fine. I won't get sick. But if you think you're getting a sore throat, if anything, because that's the last thing. When I'm someplace, I don't want to get sick. So I have mine. I have to find it. I'm like, why can't I find it? I usually take it. I throw it in my suitcase all the time. I wonder if I left it somewhere. I hope I didn't. But anyways, I love these simple little things. So she'd made it at home and gave me one of them once. So the heating compress is applied cold. Was there a question?
Yeah, what is it?
I'll take it out. I'll take it out here. The nerves react to cold compress by sending a message to the blood vessels. Let me show you here. I just have it in one of these little.
Is there a spider person?
Oh, you can't. Oh, no wonder. Thank you. Now you can see it. But this is all it is. I put little instructions in there because I'll sell these things because I paid to have them made. And then this is the part that you take. It's just cotton. It's just a cotton cloth. And if you want to, you can just use an old pillowcase or whatever, cut it up, because anything that's cotton, white is always good. And so all I do is she doubled this and sewed it at the edges. So all I do is wet it, wring it out real good, and then it sticks to your neck real good when it's wet. And then I just go like that.
5 minutes in the freezer.
Oh, there you go. You put it in the freezer so it's real cold. This is a small one, but see that? It just Velcros. So can I sleep with this? A lot easier than if I take a wool sock and put pins and needles and all that stuff in there. But I'll put it to the side so I can just sleep with it real easy. It's flannel. Yeah. You don't need to use wool because wool itches, right? Let's be practical. Yeah, back then they used to use wool because it held the heat better. Well, we have flannel today. Why itch if you don't need to? But you can see there's Velcro, and it just Velcros. And there's all different sizes. There's like medium, large, and stuff like that. Make your own. You know, I'm sure some of you can probably just make your own. It's just that simple. And then I've got the bigger ones. See, for the knees. So they need to be a little bigger. Same concept. It has this on the inside, and then it has the Velcro, and it just has a bigger Velcro thing on it. Then, here's one, it's for the breast. And of course I put my card in there, I guess, and then I put lemon baking soda breast wrap. So it's how to do it, what portions to mix, and then they can do the lemon baking soda, and then they can just put it around and Velcro it. And sleep that way at night. It's so much easier. If you don't want to get these, of course, you can take a towel, you can get a wrap, you know, try to keep it in place. There's options too, but this just makes it easier, you know.
What is the material inside of the wrap?
It's all flannel, and then this part's cotton. It's always cotton, and it's the cotton part that gets wet, that we wring it out real good, just have it damp, and then put it on. And then just wrap it with something warm, and then put your jammies on over top.
So the body heat actually is what heats up the flannel
Yes.
and dries out the cotton so that you don't catch a cold.
Exactly.
And what does the lemon and the baking soda do?
The lemon and the baking soda make it alkaline.
Oh.
And they say cancer cannot grow in an alkaline. Do you know there was one girl I was doing, when I did the videos, you'll see on if you get any of the videos, but we did a wrap of the lemon baking soda wrap. She had cancer. And she was still alive when I saw her. I was just back in Kauai years later. She's still alive. You know, I did the videos maybe a couple years ago. They finally just came out because it takes time to edit and all that stuff. So anyway, I said, if you just bring stuff, I will wrap you on the beach and give you a good treatment right on the beach. So that's what we did, and these people would come by and they'd look and they're like, is somebody in there? You know, that were just walking on the beach, because we didn't have just a private beach to say, you know, we're filming, stay off the beach. You can't do that in Kauai. So anyway, so people I just grabbed people for the knee thing. Some lady had a knee problem. So I said, hey, can you come and be part of this video, and, you know, I'll work on your knee. I'll give you a free treatment. So she was really cordial and nice and everything. So that's how we put the video together. We use different people. Then I use kids. Kay Kuzma's grandkids are in the video too. So I used her grandkids for some of them because some of these treatments are so good for kids. And somebody told me, make sure you get kids in the video. Well, it happened that they were in. So we shot at different beaches. We shot at all different locations. It took a lot, you know, to put it together. And I don't like just standing in front of a camera, but, you know, it's a ton of information, a lot of information. So heat and compress. The fresh blood brings with it new antibodies and blood proteins to fight infection. So if you have a sore knee, if you have, you know, whatever you have sore, maybe your elbow or something like that, just do a simple wrap. You know, a simple wrap like that. The increased circulation removes the toxins which may be causing pain or relaxes muscles to assist in reducing congestion. So it's very helpful, and the nice thing is you just put it on before you go to bed at night, then you go to bed. You know, and like I said, you can put herbs underneath, you can put some comfrey stuff. Yeah, I have people that have given me different ointments and things. You can use a Dr. Christopher's. The bone and tissue works excellent. Just, you know, rub in a little bit and then just put that on there, and then you sleep. And then the healing happens while you're sleeping. It's pretty neat. So very simple. Here's the application around the neck. You know, you can do it the chest, the abdomen. You can do joints. I remember when I was sick, my mom used to put hot fomentations on my stomach, not knowing. You know, she never did the cold part, but she would just put the hot, and it felt good, you know, when I had a stomach ache or something, you know, when you're a little kid. Benefits: increases circulation in the area, promotes healing, decreases pain of joints, sore throat, constipation, asthma, bronchitis, those kind of things. There's a whole chest wrap. And to do the chest, all I do, instead of doing wrapping and putting all the pins in, we used to teach it that way, but it's like, why? You know, we would just get a t-shirt, cut off the sleeves, wet the t-shirt, have them wear a nice snuggy t-shirt, wet it, make sure it's damp, you know, wring it out really good, just put on the t-shirt, and then we would have them put on another warm, like something with a, what would you call that? With a, yeah, like a turtleneck. A turtleneck, so that way you know no drafts come in. A nice turtleneck, and then another, you know, sweater or something over top, and just sleep that way. Great for asthma and bronchitis. These are good, simple, easy treatments. Now the thing is, it cannot have a draft. If it gets cold, it can cause more harm. But we want to keep it warm, so you keep it all snug. That's why the turtleneck, you know, and try to do something that's maybe a size smaller, so it stays real nice and snug. And sometimes underneath here, you might want to either tape it or pin it or something, or tuck it in so no draft comes up. All right, so those are great for kids with asthma. You can walk around in it during the day, or you can put it on and sleep on it at night. We used to have students that would say, I got this cold and I keep coughing and coughing. Weeks later, they're still coughing. And I had a set of the stuff, and I was just like, here, take this home and try it. So it had like the little t-shirt with the cut off sleeves. It had the turtleneck and another sweater, just a pullover sweater. And I think it was like a real thin wool, but the wool didn't touch them. You know, but you can get a hot, any kind of sweater or pullover to put over that's warm. You don't want it too bulky, otherwise they won't sleep at night. You know, you want them to sleep, and you want it to warm up well. So I would just give it to students and say, here, use it. And so they'd come back and they're like, my cold is gone, my cough is gone, I'm not coughing anymore. So for those persistent coughs, for those things that you've been to the doctor so many times, you've had so many antibiotics, still not working.
So the wet, how does it work?
It's usually dry in the morning. The body will heat itself up with the wet.
Do you want them to sweat or no?
No, it doesn't sweat. For some reason, it just is dry in the morning. It brings in the circulation.
Intensifies the heat or?
Yeah, you're right. It should sweat, but it doesn't. A lot of times it's dry in the morning. Yeah.
I had a cold, to get over a cold, a girlfriend gave me that wet sheet wrap, and it works on the same principle. You get it, wrap up, no drafts, and your body heat in just 30 minutes, and you'll go to sleep instantly, because you're wrapped over that with blankets, preferably the one, you know, the wool or that you can get. But it's the body heat that dries it, and I believe it's the blankets that, if there would be any sweat, would absorb that. So you don't
Right, and it all depends how long you're in it too. Our idea is not to make them sweat, but for the heat thing, for your body to increase the circulation to that area. So if you have asthma, if you have bronchitis, and you were saying for your wife, that might be something that might be helpful for your wife as well. Very simple to do. Go ahead, you had a question?
Yes, you mentioned something about cancer and the breast, and something about lemon and...
Oh, the lemon baking soda wrap. I only have here's the ingredients. Let me see what it says here. Leave your wrap for 2 to 8 hours. Okay, there should be... Yeah, because usually you mix, I think it's like, if you do it in a big thing and you give a full body treatment, it's like 8 cups of hot water, and I'm thinking like a cup or 2 of baking soda. There's a recipe that I have somewhere. I didn't come prepared for it. Because this is, this is just the heating compress. No wonder. Let me see. Here's the lemon baking soda. Let me see what it says here. Here, make a mixture. Somebody else can read it. I don't have my glasses.
Make a mixture like.
Make a mixture in a medium bowl of 3 cups of hot water, half a cup of baking soda, 2 tablespoons fresh lemon juice, fizzing is normal. Wet cotton cloth in mixture and immediately wrap around breast area and back.
So that's kind of the combination. If you're doing the full body, you're going to do it 2 or 3 times more. Because I knocked it way down, but I tried to stay in the same proportions. But I don't know right off the top of my head. So it was 3 cups of hot water and a half a cup of baking soda. So that's for the smaller one. So if you're going to do it larger, you just mix it up, it'll fizz, and then right away you put in the cloth.
How long did you leave it?
For 2 to 8 hours. Yeah, you can leave it for 2 to 8 hours. I say 8 hours because you can just sleep in it. You know, and you can put either a whole towel in it and lay it over and wrap it around, but then you have to put something warm over it too, and then make sure it stays secure. So, and you can do that at night, because somebody told me they were working at Black Hills and they said, this thing is working so well, you've got to know about it. So one of our graduates called back and gave us the recipe and told us, this is what we're doing and it's helping people like you wouldn't believe. So that's what they say. There was one lady that had done it every day, I think, for a month. She was going to go see her surgeon in a month or have surgery. She went back, there was no more lump after she'd done it. Now, that's just a story. It's not a scientifically proven thing. But anyways, that's, so, and they said they had so many good results with it. That lady that we wrapped at the thing, she went back, had her blood tested, and she said that they told her her counts were so low, her cancer count. They'd never seen it so low before. So, and I don't know if somebody continued to, I don't think she continued with it. Because some people think it's so simple, right? That they don't always continue with it. Maybe she couldn't wrap herself. I tried to get somebody else to wrap her to continue it, for weeks after.
Like hold it down with a sports bra?
Yeah, you could do that. Be innovative. Or you can get an ace bandage and wrap it or something like that. Yeah. So there are ways to do it, and it's beneficial. People are getting good benefits from it. So here's some of the benefits from the, what are we on here? The wraps. We're still on the wraps. Increases circulation to the area, promotes healing, decreases joint pain, all of those things. And then here's one contraindication. There aren't very many. Only if they're too thin and they can't heat it up. It makes them too cold. Then you wouldn't give that treatment. But a heating compress actually starts out cold.
The water that you're using is ice cold water?
No, we just use tap water because evaporation cools it. Evaporation, once you put it around, it'll be cold for just a few seconds. And then it's fine. And so anyways, that's, like I put that thing around my neck. Mine is so worn down, it's nice and soft, and it's real pliable around my neck. So it's easy to sleep in, it doesn't bother me a bit, and it's real easy to do. I just throw it on there when I'm in a hotel room or when I'm wherever I am. So that's a heating compress. Now I wanted to show you.
Can you back up the slide just a second?
to,
The flower's back on. The contraindications. You're back on the.
okay, let me find. Okay, there's the benefits you wanted, oh, the contraindications.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a very safe treatment. Just like a wet sheet pack is the whole body, like Mary said. Nope, you just put it on cold. Oh, if they're too cold, just don't do it. Do another treatment. Put their feet in a hot foot bath first before you do it. You know, warm them up. You need to warm them up first. Put them out in the sun. You can in California. So, okay, is that good?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, let's go on to the Russian steam bath. What do they call a Russian steam bath, not a Finnish steam bath or a German steam bath? Or any idea? In Russia, they still use these. They call them banyas. And they still use them to this day. And they say a day in the banya is like a day that you've never aged. It says here, the last sentence, the day you spend in a banya, you don't age. So they believe big time in these things, in the steaming. And so the Russians are very proud of and love their banyas, right? Which they steam in and then jump into a cool pool, or if in Siberia, jump into the snow. See, they're tough people. Now you know why they're tough. That's how they stay healthy, for conversation and healing. To them, it's a cultural thing. You know, they'll go in and they'll take in their drinks or whatever they do into the banyas, and they socialize while they sweat. Overweight women are encouraged to use it weekly to lose weight. And the day you spend in a banya, you don't age. Isn't that nice? So the types of steam bath, you can go to a spa and they've got the steam baths. You can do a portable steam bath. That's what we have here. And let me just show you real quick how this works, and we'll get it heated up. I put a little bit of water in here, a little over half. Okay, this is the steamer. So I'm going to take it back here so I can plug it in. And I'll back this up a little bit because you can see how portable it is. It's easy to move around. This is a cloth that it sits on. So I'm just going to sit it on here. This actually goes on here. So you've got little holes, and I just stick it right in the hole. And on the inside, we're going to get it steaming, but I just want to show you. See, it even comes with a remote. So if I get too hot, I'll put the remote to where I'll put the steam bath closer so I have the remote and can put the temperature down. Then I've got these little zippers, and they zip from the inside and the outside. See, so if it gets too hot, I simply let a little of the steam out, or I could put my hands out and I'll set on I've got like a little thing here, and I'll put my ice on there so I can put it on my head. So I can just grab it and put it on my head. Oh, my hair is a mess. But anyway, that's, and then there's a little chair in here. It comes with a little folding chair. You can put any wooden chair in here. This pole here just stays to keep its form. When someone goes to get in, I take the pole out because it just gets in the way. And see, I always put a little blankie for them to sit on. And I like it down because the heat will really come out of here. If you look at this, I'm just undoing it here. Yeah, the steam comes right through here. It goes from the steamer right through there and into here. And this is where I'll usually put my essential oils. See, it has a little thing, and it'll fill up with water because of the steam. So I'll just drop in some essential oils or some, eucalyptus if they have trouble breathing, maybe some melaleuca if they have some type of an infection, because melaleuca is supposed to be good for fungal, bacterial, viral, any type of infection. So I like to add a little bit of that in there. And then I just hook it up, and I'll put it right underneath that little chair. And you can put any wooden chair in there that's comfortable. Chairs that are higher, lower. This one's a little folding chair. They used to be bigger. Everything gets smaller. So thank you. So anyways, and then we will zip it all up because I want it to heat up now. And I'll show you how hot. And then see the hole on there? Where's my little, I have just a little towel that I throw on there to cover up the hole so it stays nice and hot. This is where their head sticks out because we always want their head to stick out. Now if they have congestion, sometimes I'll have them put their nose in a little bit to smell some of the steam, but they're going to start sweating. And Gloria is going to be our sample for this, but Gloria, I'm just going to heat it up for now. So I'm going to put this lid on after I've put some water in there to steam, and then I'm going to plug it in. And there we go, and then I'm going to turn it on. This has P something, and then I will put up to 40 minutes, and I want to increase the P to the highest. I think is 8 or 9 on this. 8. Let me see, 7, 9. Okay, so this should heat up. It'll steam after a bit because there's water in there. So it's just an outside steamer. And then see, it goes right through there, goes right inside. So, and then we keep this shut. And then I feel inside whether it's ready. And then I can lift it off and see there's steam coming off. Then I know it's ready. So it was easy to put up like a tent. Mitch put it up, right? Yeah, it comes with instructions and everything. So, and it's...
Is it okay to use a metal chair?
No, the metal chair will get too hot. Yeah, you don't want anything that's going to get too hot. So the wooden chair, it might get a little bit damp, but it won't get hot. Or some of that has a little metal on it, but it's canvas as well. You can try it and see, because I always put something on the bottom to catch their sweat and to keep their fanny from burning. Because it could get really hot in there. So I had a friend, she had shingles. Last time I was at her place, I was giving a talk, and so I gave her these treatments. I wanted her to get at least 10 in a row. So I gave her some, she gave herself some, because I had to leave, and then I came back, and so she was even, I have a video of her doing aerobics. We did some aerobic thing that we put up on the thing, and so she was just loving it, and every day she had it sitting in her kitchen, and she would just give herself a steam bath every night before bed. And then you lay down and rest, so you go to bed.
Do you do cold after that, or is it just...
Yes, you want to ice them down afterwards. Yes, ice down or take a cold shower. There are no showers here, so we're just going to ice down Gloria in a little bit here. So that's the portable steam bath. And you can even make your own with a shower curtain. Have you seen those where you get the heater underneath? Well, now they have these pots that make hot water. That's what I would use instead of the, we used to take like one of those hot plates and then put a thing on top, a little pot or, steamer, like a coffee thing. But now you can just take, a chair that's not metal, a wooden chair, sit in it, get one of those shower curtains, and you either staple it or tape it together so that it's a round thing. It makes a lot of noise. It's actually the poor man's way of doing it, which is fine, and you just want to make sure that you always keep in the steam, and then you can have it steam through. So when I'm someplace, when I was in Europe, I made one of those things for a cousin who had bronchitis or something. And so the cats kept getting underneath and wanting to get in the water. I had his feet in a hot foot bath, and it was so funny because the cats kept wanting to get in it. But anyways, you make do with what you have. You just kind of figure out, make do with what you have. And so they really appreciated it. And I think he felt better afterwards. Well, he did. And so anyways, you make do with what you have. So benefits, studies show that following the steam bath, the resting period, that white blood cells increase up to 200%. So there have been certain studies that show that, but we know for sure for 58%, scientifically. So it increases the temp, it detoxes, great for detox, great for the immune system, and also to lose weight. It's okay to lose weight, Benefits continued, shingles, if you do 10 treatments, they say it really helps shingles. Do you know my friend she used some essential oils and she was hardly in pain. She just kept going like nothing else. Trish. She had them while we were there and you didn't notice. You didn't even know. She had big sores that broke out, because I said, you need to go to the doctor and make sure, what it is. And she did. And of course he gave her a bunch of medications, but she was already doing better. She still took the medications, but chronic fatigue syndrome, do it every day for at least 10 days or 2 weeks, Well, which?
The other
back?
one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very beneficial. Simple steam bath. Because we're detoxing, because they're really sweating, we're upping their temperature, right? We're giving them that artificial fever. And it's very beneficial. And then we cool them down, like you said at the end. We always cool people down after a hot treatment. Then we have them rest. Remember? Rest is when those blood cells really go up. So the resting period, very, very important. So someone who has chronic fatigue syndrome, very beneficial for that. I've seen that at Dr. Thomas's. We had patients that would come with chronic fatigue. We'd give them a steam bath. Anybody with autoimmune diseases, steam bath. Except for MS. That's right. Except for people with MS. All right? Here's contraindications. If someone has high blood pressure, especially if it's not controlled. Okay? Uncontrolled high blood pressure. That's what I'm talking about. Diabetes. We want to be really careful.
Why?
Just because they're more prone to strokes and heart attacks, they don't always have the good circulation, kind of feel it out. If they have it under control, it's probably fine. I would start somebody who has some type of an illness at a lower temperature and only keep them in for maybe 8 to 10 minutes. We want them to work up to 20 minutes in the steam bath. So, and remember the quote, give me the power to create a fever and I shall cure any disease. So, cold mitten friction. I've gone, and I did not bring them today, but I've gone to the dollar store and gotten these little mitts. And they're kind of rough. And I'll put them in the ice because I can wear them and then just, take somebody and give them a cold mitten friction. Because cold mitten friction means you go fast and you go, you don't have to press real hard, but just so you're kind of fast. Cold mitten friction, like you're causing some kind of a friction. Okay? And then dry off briskly to stimulate the skin cells and nerves and rest immediately in dry clothes for at least 20 minutes. All right? No less. You can take a nap, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. Don't go any shorter than that. So let's see how our steam bath is doing. I'm going to see if it's getting hot in here. Because I can usually hear it boiling, but I hear a lot of noise. So I want to make sure, because it's a brand new one. Oh yeah, it's getting close to boiling. Did you see the steam?
Yes.
You see the steam? But it's not hot enough to where it's going through everything. Because this will sometimes get really hot, so be careful. And so we know it's boiling. It'll heat up here soon. But see, it doesn't take that long. All you need is a plug. You just plug it in the wall, and it's good to go. Okay, so we'll come back to that, Gloria, when it's ready. Okay, because I've got the ice and all in the, I put it in the fridge. You know what you have nice here? You have an ice maker. I was trying out of the fridge and I'm like, oh, where am I going to get the ice? Then I saw the ice machine you guys have. Awesome. Awesome ice machine. Because usually at home, I just take the ice out of my fridge. I get the cubed ice and I just have a basin with some cold water and then I just have it dumped right in the water. So, and you can use a washcloth for the cold mitten friction, because that's what we're going to do, is use a smaller hand towel today, because I want to make sure that Gloria gets cooled down really well after she's sweating in there. Okay, so let's go to ice massage. These are the booths that we have set up now for you to do too, is the ice massage. And, oops, let me get it. There's my little arrow. Okay, there we go, ice massage. Very simple treatment. They use this in sports all the time. You can go on Amazon and even get your own ice massage maker thing that you put in the freezer, and it is something plastic to hold on to, so you can do your own ice massage. So I thought that was interesting. And I think it's like on Amazon. But benefits of ice massage: sports injuries such as muscle strains, sprains, bursitis. A lot of times people don't know what's wrong with their shoulder. Do they have bursitis? Is it muscular? Is it tendons? You know, it could be a rotator cuff tear. Ice massage, safe. Ice massage is safe to use. It's good for any type of inflammation. Bursitis, sciatic pain. Where would we give the ice massage for sciatic pain? You could do the low back, but a lot of times where do they have the pain? Going down their legs. So a lot of times we got to ease that. Do you know that sciatic nerve is almost as big as my pinky? When we would go to cadaver lab, when we had the school, we often went to cadaver lab. And when they showed me the sciatic nerve, it's a big thing that goes out of your back and down here and down the back of your leg, and then it splits. Big nerve. So you can see why when people say, I have sciatic pain, that can be very painful. So a lot of times they have pain in their buttocks. So I'm going to do ice massage on their, you know, and I'll just drape one part of it. You don't have to make them lay naked on the table and everything. You can just take their underwear even and pull it up and give them the ice massage. I put a little towels around to catch the water because it will get wet, and then I give the ice massage. All right? So try to keep a person modest. Whiplash, and a friend of mine, one of our staff members actually just went to Beirut to be a missionary. You know, there's a lot of Muslims over there. They're very, very careful not to take off their clothes, you know, that kind of thing. So if you're going to be a missionary over there, you're going to have to think of different ways. Think about what's accepted in their culture. You know, so wherever you go, you need to be aware of those kind of things. But she's going over there to teach massage and hydrotherapy. So she was our hydrotherapy instructor. Simple and inexpensive. Form of cryotherapy. Cryotherapy, cold, right? Cryo meaning cold, cold therapy. Oh, and the story of Brian. Brian told me, you've got to tell people about this. He came to me weeks after he felt so much better. He had pain in his back, and he went from doctor to doctor to doctor with this pain. So I said, you know what? I need to give you an ice massage. And he's like, oh no, not the ice. So I gave him an ice massage, and I took pictures of it to show him the redness where I gave him the ice massage. I think it was kind of his back in here that was hurting. And he'd been to all these doctors. He's been all over the place. And he was one of the Toyota guys that I told you about yesterday. I got a lot of free stuff done because I gave treatments. So he had all these x-rays, all these pills. He didn't know what to do. He was still in so much pain. Big muscular guy too. And so I said, you know what, let's try the ice massage. So I did the ice massage on just that part of his back that hurt. And then I gave him a treatment. And of course, for lower back or any back pain, I always check the psoas too. And, you know, I just gave him a regular treatment and the regular massage. And he came back, or he called me later, and he says, my pain is gone. And weeks later, he says, my pain is still gone. And he saw me and he sat down and he says, Corolla, you need to tell people what this has done for me. I'm like, okay, Brian. He's not an Adventist or anything. He's a neat friend. And I remember one time I gave him a treatment. He had a sore shoulder, and he went and worked out right after. And he was fine. you know? So anyways, for some reason, yeah. But he was a big muscular guy. There was another huge muscular guy that was barely able to walk at Eden Valley or something. And the president said, hey, work on him. You need to get him better. He was a bodyguard for somebody that was there as a patient, some famous person or whatever. So here he is, this big muscular guy, and I'm like, how did you do it? He says, I did a kick. I went up and did some kind of a kick, and ever since then, he's had a lot of pain. So I checked him out. His calf muscles were as big as my thigh muscles. And I was like, no, nothing in your calf. So I checked all these different muscles. I found one little muscle here, is tensor fascia lata, is what we call it, a TFL. A little muscle right in here that goes down to his leg. And because he told me how he did it, I kind of had a suspicion where it might be. But I didn't know it was this little TFL. And here's this big, huge guy limping around, and it's a tiny little muscle. I said, let's just ice massage it. I'll work it a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Because you never know. You know, so I worked on him. I did the ice massage, and he was fine. And I told him, do the ice massage whenever you have pain. You know, do a little ice massage. And I don't know if he ever even did it, but he was fine then. He was walking, and he says, I'm fine now. You know, but it was a little muscle, and all I did was ice massage, because it really gets the circulation in there. Ice massage, when you massage with that ice, it takes the circulation, it pushes it away, and it numbs the area. You want to ice it till it's numb. You don't want the ice to sit there. You have to keep it moving, you know, either back and forth, around in circles. You have to always keep it moving, otherwise they'll get frostbite. We don't want frostbite. But we want them, once it's numb, and I'll run my finger over, you know, an area, and they'll be like, oh yeah, it is, it's totally numb now. So it's pretty amazing little simple thing. And you're all going to get to do ice massage. Now the first part is not the best part, because it's cold. It's cold, it doesn't feel real good, but then once you get past the burning, the aching, then it turns numb. And if you see there, that's how we remember it, C-band. Some people will skip things, you know, they'll skip the aching and go straight to the numbness, you know, or they might skip the burning and just go to the aching and the numbness. So, but it is cold, and you guys will get to do it even on your forearm. If you've got no problem area like a shoulder or a knee or, you know, an ankle or something like that, just do it right here on your arm. You know, because a lot of people have tightness on your right arm just from typing and stuff. So see what it feels like. I want you to do it for 10 to 12 minutes till it's numb. Now if I'm doing a buttock, if I'm doing part of a back, I'm going to go a little longer, right? Because it's a bigger area, right? So you might go longer. Usually not much more than 12, 15 minutes. So we do it till it's numb. Look how red it gets. It will get red, especially as it starts to heat itself up. It will get nice and red, and that's okay, that's normal. Here's a preparation. We have cups and cups in there, and then we have a little tray, so we're going to do it outside because it can get a little bit messy. We're going to do it out here, but we'll put the ice things on the tray, and we'll take it through there. And you just peel back. You see that? How you just peel back the styrofoam. Styrofoam cups are the best. You can put them in paper cups, but it doesn't always peel as nice. The styrofoam is to protect the person who's giving the massage so you don't freeze your fingers, right? So, and if you can come up with something else, if it falls out of the cup, I might just use a cloth, you know, a washcloth or something like that. But I peel it back, and then I rub the edges, just so it's not sharp. Remember, we're going to be nice to people, right? We don't need to suffer. So we'll rub the edges a little bit, make sure it's not soft, and then just go to it. All right? And then you place the towel somewhere to catch the melting ice. If you're doing the knee, you put the towel underneath to catch. If you're doing a shoulder, you get a big towel and put it around. And I remember where was I? Up in Canada. And I asked people out of the audience to come up and we'll do the ice massage. So some lady said she got hit by a moose. I'm like, oh, only in Canada. So she said then her shoulder hasn't been as good ever since. And she'd been to doctors, so we did the ice massage. And then it's safe to do. Do you have to know, do they have bursitis? Do they have, what do you call that when you tear those ligaments? Rotator cuff problems, whatever. I really don't know. I don't have an x-ray, so I can't tell for sure. But is it going to help? Yes. Now, if they have bone spurs, something that really helps bony spurs to break them down is castor oil. I had a young gal, she came to me, I don't remember where I was, but she had bunions. A little girl had bunions coming out of her foot. And she was about to have surgery, and she didn't want to. And her mother and her came up to me and said, what can I do? And I said, the only thing I know is the castor oil. You put it on, and then you warm it up. You wrap it either at night, or you put a heating pad on it, and you keep it warm. So that's castor oil. So she did that. She came up to me. I was at a booth somewhere at ASI or something. Said, do you remember us? And I'm like, yes, I do. Because I did. I remembered the little girl and her mom, and she was a little taller by now. But they said, we did the castor oil faithfully every night. And you know what? And she says, my bunions went away. I was like, holy cow, I didn't know that. Excuse my language. But anyways, I was like amazed. I was amazed. So if you have bone spurs, or there's suspicion of bone spurs in your shoulders or in your hips, castor oil. Or if a doctor tells you that, castor oil does wonderful things. It's a real thick oil. I know you can buy it at the market. The market has it, and different health food places. But castor oil is amazing stuff. You know, you don't want to get it on your clothes. You want to be careful for that, but it's good stuff.
So you heat it and rub it in?
Yeah, you can rub it in and then just put something warm over it.
You don't heat it prior to that, though?
What's that?
You don't heat the oil?
No, you don't heat the oil. Not that you can't. I don't think it's going to hurt anything.
Rub it in and then...
Yeah, you just rub it in. And one time I had a pain in my gut, and I didn't know why, because I had so many adhesions from all the stuff I had before. So I got a little thing of castor oil. It was Kellogg's castor oil. I just bought it somewhere in Florida. And so I put that on there all the time. You know, every time I thought about it, I would take that little thing with me. And so I just put a little on me. And you know, after a while, my pain went away. It totally went away. So I think it broke down whatever was causing the pain. So pretty amazing. So use circular or long strokes back and forth to cover the painful area. Do not massage on the bone, only because it could cause aching if you did it on the bone a lot. Even if I do the knee, I'll go around the bone, and you can go behind the knee and all around. Don't do it just on the bone, because it will cause aching. That's all. I mean, it's not a bad indication, you know, contraindication, but it's not fun.
And you said this is the treatment you gave Kay Kuzma?
Yeah, that's what I did for Kay. And I just did easy, and then she was doing her own. So, and I encourage people to do their own if they can reach an area. You know, a knee is easy to do on your own. And but she was just doing it. I didn't even tell her. But she it must have helped, because, and then somebody else came to my house. She had a knee problem, and she was just doing her own knee. And I was teaching some people how to do stuff. Yeah, people know that these things help. So to finish the treatment, simply massage the area, real light or gentle motion. So you just move it just to help get circulation back in, that's all. So just have them move it, even just walking will do great for that. Okay, let's see how the steam bath is doing. I can't quite hear it. Let's see. Do you see a little steam coming out of there? That means it's ready. And then, like when I'm doing this, especially at my house, I have carpet in my living room, or I'll do it on the tile, it doesn't matter. But either way, it's nice to have a little something for her to step on then. So Gloria, if you want to come over here, and then I'll go through some more stuff while we keep an eye on her. And then I'll show you what I got. I'll show you this that I got. I just picked this up at the bargain store the other day. It's one of my favorite little stores out here. And it says Walgreens on it. But I thought this is perfect. It's nice and soft. I can just stick it right on the head. And then if I need to, I can cinch it up a little bit. So it'll keep the head cool. Other times I'll put ice in a sock and just tie up the top of the sock, a longer sock, and put it around the neck. So, but we'll use this, and you can feel it. I mean, it's not terribly cold, but it'll cool more. Gloria, thank you so much for doing this. If you just want to take your sneakers off, and we want them to be as least clothes as possible when they go in there because they're going to be sweating a lot. So if you want to keep your top on, that's fine for the demonstration. But we want to be real quick with this because we don't want to lose a lot of the steam. I'm just going to, if you can just pull that. I'm just going to pull this out of here. There we go. I'm going to hold that for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here, okay. You're nice and thin. You can fit in there. And then she's just going to sit on there. Is that okay? Yes. And then I'm going to, oh, you're going to put it in there. Okay, good idea. So we can just go like that. Oh, here's the remote. Let's turn it down. Oh, I don't have a battery in here. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit to about a 3. And then, see this here? I'm going to put this around the neck so that nothing escapes, right? So we don't want any, are you comfortable in there? So, like I said, we put Jackson. Now when she starts to heat up and get hot, then we can put this, I'll leave you in charge of that. When she starts to heat up and you tell us, you know, you'll start sweating pretty soon. If it gets too hot, do you feel these things? You can always let some steam out here. So she can just take her hands. And like I said, sometimes I'll put their feet in a hot foot bath if I really want them to heat up quick. It's hot today, it's okay. So, but if it's cold and I'm somewhere cold, I'll put their feet in a hot foot bath too. Or maybe give them some hot tea to drink. And you know what? We should probably give her something to drink. What's nice is to have a straw. You know those straws where you can, because it's so much easier. Now, is she able to get her own drink? For the most part, no. When I'm giving my own, I'll put my drink and everything on a higher thing that I can just reach out and grab my ice, you know, anything that I need. When I do it at home, I can shower afterwards. So I'll do it close to where, in the shower's right around the corner from my living room. So I can just run in, take a nice cool shower, and then rest, right? Don't forget to rest. You always rest for that half an hour to 30 minutes afterwards. How are you doing? If you're getting hot, let us know. We'll put that on your head to cool. Okay, Gloria's doing good. Are you starting to sweat yet? Okay, but she will. She will. Is it warm enough in there? Okay, I can even up it a little bit more. Let me see here. I'll take it up to a 5. So we'll see how she does there. I just don't want to overheat her. So anyways, that's why you start with friends. Oh, how nice. Thank you. So that's why you start with friends and family, so you can practice, all right? So then you'll get it down to the perfect temperature. Like I think we always used 4 or 5 on Trish. We kept it at that because that kept her hot and sweating. 8 or 9 was too hot, so we didn't do the 8 or 9. So we just went down. So you'll see what works for that. Okay, so I just ordered it on the internet.
I just looked it up at Walmart, has them for $79.
Oh, there you go. That's a good deal. Yeah, see, and they've got different kinds. Some of them even are infrared sauna, and you can get all kinds of different things now. There was a while I couldn't get them. People wanted to buy them, they wanted to get them, and I'm like, I don't know where else to get them from. So it's good they're getting less and less expensive. So let me, yes.
As far as the drink, should it be cold or warm when we drink?
It can be cold or warm because she's going to heat up good. She's healthy and oh, isn't that nice? Perfect. So you want to be real nice, and you never want to leave your client alone, right? We always want to be, oops, sorry about that. We always want to be there with them. Let me turn this down. Okay, so now we're going to go to the wet sheet pack. We're going to keep moving on just because of time. And I want you guys to have, is it almost time to go? You guys go at 12? Okay, so I want to go over the wet sheet pack real quick. All right? This is a oh, let me get this up here. Okay, this is a wet sheet pack. See, wrapping makes us feel secure. This is when you, I couldn't resist these pictures because something about being wrapped makes you feel good, right? Don't we do that to babies? We wrap them up to make them feel better. So anyways, and then contraindications, if they're claustrophobic. My brother is claustrophobic. I've tried to wrap him in a sheet and he'll just be like, I need my arms out, you know. And so sometimes if I think that's a good thing to do, I'll let them take their arms out or keep them crossed in the top, you know. So anyways, and unable to heat up. If they're unable to heat up, sometimes I'll have a water bottle or something to heat up their feet.
Do you mind backing it up?
Oh, sure.
First one? Yeah, the first one. There we go.
That one there? How is she doing? Oh, good. She's starting to warm up. Are you sweating yet? A little bit. She's sweating a little bit. Okay, good. Nice. So she's starting to sweat. She's brave to do that. That's good. Thank you, Gloria. All right. Then we have 3 stages. The thing about a wet sheet pack, it's 3-in-1. It's a 3-in-1 treatment. So we get the cooling stage, which, shoot, I love to tell stories, but I'm running out of time. But we had this young man, and he came to our clinic. He had ADD, and we gave him a massage, and he started going up in his grades, and he was doing like really good. Then one day he got really sick. He got the flu, and his mom wanted to take him to the ER. And he says, Mom, don't take me to the ER. And so she did, and she says, well, honey, what should I do? He goes, wrap me up like they told us at the school. So he got in a wrap for just the first 10 minutes or so is the antipyretic stage. If you look at that, there's the antipyretic stage, just the first 10 to 15 minutes of the wrap. Because you wring it out and it's cold when they get in it, and you quickly wrap them. You know, his fever went away, and he goes, Mom, do you see these natural remedies work? And so it was so cute. He was 8 or 9 years old then. So stage 2 is the neutral stage. This is the calm. Oh, look at that. See, she can get her own. So it's the calming stage, the nervous system, anxiety, panic attacks, nervous exhaustion, seizure activity, undocumented. That's what I told you about that young lady before. But it's good for all of these others. And I remember we used to do this in class. It was the quietest day in class. And I'd have everybody rap. And the one guy said, I will never go to sleep in one of these. And I said, well, we'll just see, you know. So we rapped. Within 20 minutes, he was gone. So as soon as your temperature of the body catches up to the temperature of the sheet, usually it's such a calming effect, you go right to sleep. He was fast asleep. So I used to go around, just give him head massage, and, you know, nice, right? We can pamper our people. Never leave a person alone in a wet sheet pack because they're stuck. They're there like that. What if their nose itches? What if, you know, then, you know, they'll squiggle out of it, and then it ruins the whole treatment. So you want to make sure, always be there, or have a baby monitor or something there for them. Okay, sweating stage. This is when you've been in it for a few hours. You know, make sure they go to the bathroom before treatment because you don't want them peeing in their wrap like they tell you to do in your scuba suits. So anyways, the sweating stage, this is where they sweat. Anything from scarlet fever, flu, bronchitis, and you know, scarlet fever is coming back again, isn't it? Somebody told me, I had that when I was a kid. Alcoholism, smoking cessation. And they say when a person stops smoking and you wrap them, it actually turns yellow if they're in the heating stage because it sweats out those toxins, all right, into detox. How are you doing, Gloria? Good. Okay, nice, nice. Procedure. Okay, we want to place 2 large blankets on top of each other on the bed or massage table. I have that back there so you'll be able to practice how to wrap. Queen size sheet, run in a spin cycle. We're going to do it dry, but normally you would just wet it. It's a big sheet. We used to, everybody be out in the parking lot wringing these sheets. Just throw it in your spin cycle. Just throw it in the spin cycle, spin it good till it's damp. Then you lay it down, then you wrap the person, and then you wrap the blankets on top. And you'll see back there how it's set up. A very simple thing to do. Have client lay on the sheet, face up with as little clothes as possible. Okay, wrap the client in the sheet, no skin touching. Do you see how that is? This is right out of Dr. Thomas's book. I had a friend make me a new sketch. So I don't have to say then where it's from or anything. But anyways, this was still in here. So have them raise their arms when they start. So it goes across and it goes over one leg. Tuck it in good, then wrap the other side. Bring the arms down and then you wrap the arms in it so that you have no skin touching skin. They're just touching the damp cloth and then you wrap them. And then you take the blankets, which are underneath, and then you wrap them up. In the video, I tell the girl, you're getting wrapped like a little burrito. You know, you got to make it fun for kids. It's different when you're working with kids. And you know what your kids like. This is my friend Greg. We did him right on the kitchen table. This was in Canada. Yeah, right on the kitchen table. I wrapped him, and I said, I'm going to take a picture. So, yeah. That was right on their kids. So you just make do with what you have. Procedure, you just place a small towel around the front of the neck. Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sweating? Yes. She's sweating now. Okay. Keep client and pack for the proper time. Do not leave unattended. May use a baby monitor. So you want to be there with them. You can tell them stories. It's a good time to tell about your testimony, whatever. They're not going anywhere, right? But don't preach to them. Do not preach to them. You know, tell them something that's interesting. Play nice music. You can light candles. Why not make it nice? You can make it really nice. Be sure to have the client go to the bathroom before getting wrapped, right? Okay, put cold cloth on the head if client's getting warm. So if you have them in there for a long time, then if they start getting warm, you always put the cool cloth because we have to keep the what cool? The head cool or the brain. We want to keep that brain cool at all times. Then to finish, you unwrap the client, have them go to bed or shower if they've been sweating, if they've been in a long time. Otherwise, just a shower, go to bed. All right? So just very, very simple thing there.
How long does this treatment last altogether?
The wrap, it all depends. Remember, we have the 3 stages. The first 10 or 15 minutes is to get the fever down in kids, right? So it might be a 15-minute treatment. All right? Then when we go into the neutral stage, we might keep them there for a couple hours. That's to calm the whole nervous system. So if somebody has, like I said, the seizures, especially if they have panic attacks or anxiety. How many people know people who get panic attacks? Right? How many people know people who get anxiety? Right? This is a perfect thing. Teach them how to do it. teach their family members, have them do it every day for at least a couple weeks to see if it helps. And it does. It makes a difference.
If you live alone, though, how can you wrap yourself?
If you have a...
If you live alone,
Oh.
how can you do a wrap?
You get friends. Friends or family. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to do your own. You can't really do your own. You can give your own steam bath now, thanks to these new steam baths. And she was drinking. I saw her drinking. So, yeah. So, yeah. A wet sheet pack, though, hard to do on your own. It's really hard to do on your own. And it's back there, so you guys will get to practice. And let's see. We have the steam bath. Oh, no, the paraffin bath. That's the one over there where you dip your hand in. We're just going to quickly go through it.
You lost your slide again.
Oh, here, let me put the... There. Okay, so this is paraffin bath. Real simple, real easy. Mine happens to be blue wax that I got in there. I don't know where I picked it up. But anyways, like I said, you can get them at thrift shops and in different used stores for brand new for $7, $6, $7, $5. I've got my cheapest one. Brand new. Brand spanking new. So, okay, it's good for arthritis, stiff joints, any kind of hardened skin like scleroderma. And let's see here, arthritis, yeah, softened scar tissue, old sprains and strains. So, but you need to get massage after that, after the old, to break down that scar tissue. Stiff aching joints. This is wonderful. I have one, this one I keep in my living room. So anybody can use it. I use it every now and then just to keep my hands nice and soft and supple. My brother has one. He uses it every day because he's a handyman. He does construction work. So he says he wants to keep his hands nice and soft, and so he uses his every day. He's like, do you need mine? I'll let you use mine, but mine's not as clean. So I said, no, it's okay. I'll just, use this one. And then somebody brought in a crock pot. You can also heat it in a crock pot, the wax. So, and you can just order wax online. Don't get the canning wax, get the therapeutic wax. Some have more oil in them, so they'll heat up more. Others have less, and then you'll feel it afterwards. Are you doing okay, Gloria? You can see she's sweating. Yeah. So, you want to be careful. Here are some contraindications. Very thin skin, right? You don't want to dip that in any sores or anything like that. Heat sensitivities, redness, inflammation of the body. This isn't the treatment then. Real simple. You want to sanitize your hands. I just have a little squeegee thing. I have a little foaming one at home, but it's a disinfectant, so you just put it on and then you do the dipping. So you dip that part of your hand 8 to 12 times, okay? And you guys will get to do it down there. And there's plastic bags that you can put over. Let it dry for a few seconds before you put it in the plastic bag. And then, that's the wrap, or you can wrap it with saran. And then you want to put it in something warm, whether it's a warm mitten, or you can just take a towel, wrap it around, or put it in your jacket, or wrap your jacket around. And then the finishing treatment is really, really easy. Look at this. You just peel it off, and it comes off like a whole hand, and you put it back in. Because it's 130 some degrees, you don't have to worry that much about germs. But make sure that you disinfect before, clean before. Otherwise, you'll get dirt in there and it'll start settling and not looking so nice.
Can you put essential oils?
Oh, yes. Definitely. You can put any essential oils in it you want. There might be some eucalyptus in there. I'm not sure. You'll see once you take it off, compare your hands. See what your hands feel like. Because it's a beauty treatment as well. It keeps your hands soft and supple. It's very nice. And guys, don't be afraid to use it. Like I said, my brother uses this almost every day, sometimes twice a day. So it's good stuff. It's very practical, very easy. How many times do we dip? 8 to 12 times. How are you doing? Are you ready to come out soon? Oh, now, okay. So it's heated up. So I'll put it down just a little bit from the 5. Okay. Oops. Okay, there's the one that brings it up. Oh, there. I put it at a 3. Is that okay? Or do you want it lower?
No, that's
Okay, that's good. Are you starting to sweat? Oh, she feels good. It feels good to sweat and to detox. Yep, and she'll feel even better after she gets iced down and then lays down. And we'll lay her down somewhere for a few minutes. Okay, let's quickly go over salt glow. You guys are going to do salt glow, not the whole body, but just on the hand. Okay? So this is the salt glow because it reminds you of the beach. The salt glow is a lovely thing. And
Go back, please.
take this off. I'm getting warmed up now. Thinking about Gloria in there. Okay, so this is the salt glow. You guys will get to do it over there. There's the salt, there's the bowls. Then there's little Ziploc bags if you want to take any home. And there's a little bit of coconut over there too, if you want to put a little coconut oil in with it. So your choice, however you want to make it. All right, most of it, we just want to put it in a small bowl, a few tablespoons of water. Be careful, don't put too much water, just a tiny bit of water because you want it to be like a slushy or a slurry kind of thing. And these are, why is salt glow? Because it's the natural high. It's a natural euphoria. It makes people feel good. So, and you can do it on most anybody. Don't do it right after they've shaved their legs. You know, don't have them, oh, I'm going to shave my legs because she's going to give me a salt glow. You know, because then it might sting and burn a little bit. Right? So why do you feel so great after a day at the beach? You know? Maybe you got a salt glow at the beach. I don't know. But anyways, it's good for you. It creates this natural euphoria. Soft, youthful skin. People always ask, can I do my face? I don't do people's faces. I will give them the dish and let them do their own. Because what if it gets in their eyes or something? It's not my fault then, right? Yeah, so if it gets in their eyes, you know, they're the ones that are kind of responsible. It's not a big deal, it's just salt. But it'll burn for a little bit. So, but it's great for depression, for menopause. If people have menopause symptoms, I told somebody about it in Germany, one of my aunts, and she used it and she wrote me a letter and said, this stuff worked so good, I can't believe it. So anyways, a friend visited my home. Oh yeah, I told you that story yesterday and the relatives in Germany. And yeah, salt glow. Sometimes you can have a salt glow party. Invite your kids, invite your neighbors, just have a salt glow each other. You can use anything from shampoo in the salt glow to essential oils, anything you like. How are you doing, Gloria?
Good.
You're doing okay? All right. Add essential oils, your favorite lotion, coconut or olive oil, or make it a reward for losing a few pounds or working hard. Reward yourself. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a big believer in rewards.
This is basically salt and water.
Yes, basically salt and water.
Because I didn't get all the ingredients on there, but you just add the oils in if you want.
Yes. A little bit of oils. Don't overdo it. Just add maybe a teaspoon of coconut oil or something like that. Just a little bit. Just enough to make your skin. I get them from doTERRA. Yeah. And I have friends, but most of my staff after I left got into doTERRA and they're all doing really well. So I got into doTERRA just to help them out. And I like the oils. I like the fact that there's one more thing that can be helpful for people. So anyways, I like the oils. But yeah, it's doTERRA oils is usually what I use because it's pure. I can drink it. I can put it in stuff. But like if we took any of that lemon and put it in like your water, she could drink the lemon juice. That would help with the detoxing. So yeah, they're very powerful and you need to learn about them just like you do hydrotherapy and massage. Yeah, contraindications, uncontrollable high blood pressure, cuts or sores on the body, recently shaved legs. Okay? Those are things that you want to watch out for the salt glow.
So is it the mineral or the friction that's?
Something, do you remember when you were in school? Because people used to ask me, what's better, the sugar or the salt? Well, the salt has some type of something in it because we could light up a light bulb with salt water, but you can't do that with sugar water. And I don't know what it is, but something, when you rub on the salt, it makes people feel better. It's
Negative ions.
Oh, is that what it is? Negative ions? Yeah, we always know it's good after a rain to walk and to smell the air because the negative ions. So I always say use Celtic or sea salt if you can. You can use Morton salt. I don't care. I use whatever they have in the house. You know, if I'm giving a salt glow to somebody. I used to, when I was a massage therapist, if it was their birthday, I'd give them a salt glow before the massage and they would love it. So it was just their little treat. Have clients stand in a tub of warm water to their ankles. Why? Why the warm water?
Heat up the body.
Yeah, just to keep them from getting chilled, from getting cold. You keep their feet in warm water, and then you've got that water. I just do it in the bathtub. I just put a little basin in there. I won't even put the basin. I just put in my tub a little bit of water for them to stand in. Then I take that water and I wet the part that I'm going to use the salt on. So I always wet the area first, then I salt it. All right, so that's what we want to do. And then take the salt paste and vigorously scrub it. This was in Australia. This is actually 2 of my students there in Australia. See, we did it right in the shower. So no muss, no fuss. Then it's easy to clean up. You just shower off all the salt, make sure there's no salt anywhere. And easy. And remember, you came out to the house and you guys did salt glows. Yeah. So begin with the legs, then the arms, then the back, the chest, the neck, then the face. And see, she was wearing quite a bit of clothes. That's why I got a picture of her. But usually you just wear a bikini, and I'll put them sideways and just have do their stomach and their back at the same time. You know, and you really are vigorous with it. It's a workout. Yes?
So going back to the knee replacement, would this be something good to do before the ice rub?
You know, I would just do the ice rub for the knee. I would just do the ice rub. If they're depressed or something like that, I might give them a salt glow. You know, but pretty much. What's that?
Salt glow in a different area?
Salt glows for the whole body. Yeah, we usually salt glow the whole body. It's a general body kind of thing. If you're rough, like guys used to come with calluses to do massage, I would say take some salt and a little water and rub those calluses because it makes your hands so soft. Yeah. So, and you guys are only going to be doing probably your hand and maybe your arm. You know, I did it there close to the sink, then you can rinse right off. And just rinsing in warm water is fine. But see, you can even do it on a table. But it can be messy. We're dealing with salt, right? It can get all over the place. So, you know, just make sure it's an easy place to clean up. And then here are different things you can use. Coconut oil, you can put in lemon, grapeseed oil, sea salt, just, you know, a few things that you can use for that. So you guys got the salt thing down? There's my little arrow. Yeah, I'm just going to the next bunch of slides. I have one more here. This is the contrast fomentations. Where did the guy go? He was going to help with the contrast. How are you doing in there? Do you need ice down yet?
I feel like a little cold now.
Oh, she's feeling a little cold now. Okay, let's turn it back up. Oh, it went down to, why is it a 1? Okay, that's a 6. Let's see. Hopefully it'll stay there. you'll heat up good, and then once you heat up, we'll ice you down. Okay. All right. And who can I help to ice me down? Ice her down. Who wants to help to ice her down? You will. Anybody else that will help to ice her down? You will. Okay. In the refrigerator, you'll find something with ice. It's a yellow base, and it has ice and a cloth in it. So we'll ice her down. Let her heat up first. Is it getting warmer again? Not yet. Okay. So contrast fomentations. This is how we remember it, back in the olden days, right? But we've simplified. Matter of fact, what I want to do is I've been experimenting with these little things that hold water that are real, real thin, that I need to practice more on it and see how it works. Heat it up in the microwave, wrap it up, and then put it on a client. But anyway, you get it at the dollar store. So anyways, these are the specially sewn cloths that they use, these fomentations, because whoever will sew it up, they put wool inside, special cotton, flannel, I don't know what all they put. But we can also use a hot towel. So either one, whatever you have, is good to use. But remember, with these fomentations, if you don't dry them out really well, they'll rust. They'll turn brown, they'll mildew, not nice. So a lot of people have had them and then they got ruined because they didn't know to dry them really well afterwards. So you need to put them out in the sun or put them on a rack. Make sure they're very dry before you pack them away. All right? And then we have towels, which I just throw in the wash machine after. I throw everything in the wash machine after I treat a client. Have all clean stuff again. Okay? So, and you can get those hot towel cabbies that heat up. Sister Kenny, have you heard of her? Yeah. She was a nurse that went around Australia and healed people of polio. She would just use hot fomentations on their legs instead of the big braces that they used to use. And her kids were fine. They were fine afterwards, where the ones with the braces were always crippled. They'd walk stiff like this. So, and the doctors didn't like her either because of that, and she opened up a clinic in town to help these kids, because polio was on the rampage there for a while, and it was here too. But Sister Kenny would go to different people's homes, and she found that if she wrapped them in hot fomentations, they would do fine. So, and look, this was back in the 1930s. This was a long time ago. So, in polio, somebody told me polio might be coming back again. I'm like, oh no, I hope not. So, but 1918 flu, remember we talked about that? See that? That is like the Cadillac of all hydrotherapies. You lay down, you've got fomentations on your back. Notice on the back, you've got it on the front, you've got the feet in hot water, and then keeping the head cool. How are you doing, Gloria? Oh, now she's feeling it. Okay, good. It took a minute to kick in. So that's the Cadillac of the treatments. Full hydrotherapy treatment to the chest, front, and back with feet in hot water. Dr. Harvey Kellogg healed all that could walk in with these type of fomentations. So this is what they did for people who walked in. So think, how can you simplify that? Have something warm on the back, warm in the front, and then keeping the head cool, of course. See, it had a cool compress around the neck and on the head and over the eyes, and then you would just always...
hot or cold to the chest?
Hot. Yep, fomentations are the hot ones. To the chest, we used to do these. This is the treatment that girl did on me when I had bronchitis or something. That's why I say I was kind of just laying there stuck, under everything. And then at the end, we used to just take cold water, bring their feet out, pour cold water right over their feet, and then, have them get up and do the ice on the, and you would ice them in between as well. 3 times back and forth.
So could you use a heating pad with a towel?
Probably at least to lay on. It has to be nice and hot. Yeah, and then for the fomentation, you can just take a towel. We're going to do fomentations with towels in a minute here. And then the applications, it can be to the chest, to the abdomen, any areas of pain, but not appendicitis, because we could help rupture appendix. Circulation's increased circulating white blood cells, decreased tension, muscle spasms, sciatic pain, bronchitis. Fomentations are good for so many things. Fomentations are like the main thing of hydrotherapy. When people think of fomentations, but if you look up hydrotherapy now on the internet, you know what comes up? Colonics. All this colonic stuff, and they call that hydrotherapy. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, it's internal.
So, yeah.
Hydrotherapy.
Yeah, definitely. Just like laughing, they say, is internal massage. Laughter is good. Yes, you had a question?
Yes, it mentioned for the hot fomentations, it mentioned sciatica again. And then before, you were saying about the ice. So which is better for the sciatica?
You know, it depends. Some people love the heat. Some people like the heat. So I'll keep the heat on for 5 minutes and then do the ice and then hot again for another 5 minutes and ice up to 3 times. Sometimes I'll do it 5 times. There's nothing that says you can't. You can do it for 3 minutes. If you're on a smaller area and you want more circulation to the area, you do it 3 minutes, 5 times, you know. Or I'll use, if they love the heat, I'll do more heat and less cold, but I still always end with cold. So that's the difference. It's their preference. Ice massage works wonderfully. So especially for inflammation, ice is good. All right? So yes, let's cool her down. So we'll unzip, and then we're going to quickly cool her down. Do you have any dry clothes to get into then? Okay, then she'll have dry clothes, and then we need to lay you down and have you rest for a good 20 minutes. Okay, very good. So who else is helping her? Let me get the, oh, you got it. Oh, there's ice stuck on it. Otherwise, use another cloth here too, if you need to. Okay, so they're going to ice her down good. Then she's going to get dressed. Now we can start at the feet. Her feet aren't in hot water, so we can take this all off. You can use a little on her face too. Cool off her face a little bit. Yeah. It'll feel good. See? It'll feel really good now. Yeah, see? When you're so hot, the cold feels good. Doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, so you do take the hot and cold shower. So I'm going to just take this out, and then let's pull that. Thank you. It's hard to do with one hand. Okay. So that's good. And then you can, let me turn this off. We'll just unplug it. Then we know it's off. Oh, you're cold. But don't worry, it feels good to her. So you can do her arms, her legs, yeah, all around. Because you want to cool her off really well. And you can even have her stand up if she's real, you know, strong person. If they're real weak, keep them sitting. You know, use your brain for those kind of things. We'll put this back in the freezer then. Or I'll just leave it out. See, and cold mitten friction. Really give a good friction. Yeah. Yeah, so we want to really cool her off good. Yeah, real friction. We usually start distal and go proximal, or start at the fingers and go up. Yeah. Go up kind of towards the heart. And then good. Getting her legs really, really brisk. Real brisk. And then she'll dry off. There's a towel. Then she can dry off with the towel. Which is right there. And that's probably your phone too. We just don't want it to go anywhere. There's the towel. So good. You guys are doing a good job. That's it. Doesn't it? You feel great. Yeah. And then maybe a little more on the face. Make sure she's well cooled off. And then she can dry off, and then you're going to lay down. And we can maybe, you can lay down in one of the things. Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah, see? So she feels good. She's been detoxed. She was in there for what? A good 15, 20 minutes probably. Yeah. So, okay, let's count off, and then you're going to go into your groups. I know it's 12:30. For you that want to do it, I mean, you don't have to stay. I know it's 12:30. If you want to, the salt glow's in there. The fomentations, and I will show you. Do you want me to demonstrate the fomentations before? Okay. Okay, let's demonstrate. You are going to be our person. And where would you like the fomentations? Okay, lower back is a common place. Let's do his lower back. And you know what? Let's bring the table in here. Can we bring that table in? You guys want to come outside? Oh yeah, come on outside. Come on outside. We'll leave the table right there.